Chapter 305. When the transformation began, Yanyan's delicate body slightly trembled, but that was all. Yanyan was still a little scared, still slightly shrinking her body, clenching her jade teeth, ready to welcome the hellish pain at any time. But a few minutes passed, half an hour passed, an hour passed. That hellish pain still didn't come. Instead, her body itched, as if the itch came from the bone marrow. Of course, this itch wasn't uncomfortable, instead, it was warm and numb. Finally, 2 hours passed. Yanyan couldn't help but say, "Husband, haven't you started yet?" "You can start, I can bear it." At this time, Elder Wu Yan on the side said, "You can start, Yang Dingtian, since it's already at this point, it's fine if it hurts a little." Yang Dingtian said, "Wait a little longer, it's going to be over soon." When these words came out, the two were immediately surprised. What does that mean? It's already been a long time, and now it's almost over. But, I don't feel any pain at all. Yanyan said doubtfully. Elder Wu Yan said in shock, "It's impossible for there to be no pain, you didn't do the transformation at all. I've seen 4 people transform their profound veins, 1 died, and 1 failed. Of the 2 who succeeded, the lightest one fainted 3 times from the pain, and pulled out all his nails, trying to use the pain to offset the pain. You're transforming Yanyan's profound veins, how can there be no pain at all?" Yang Dingtian didn't answer, but continued to control the energy of Naga's profound veins, transforming Yanyan's profound veins inch by inch. At this time, the transformation had already reached the forehead and wrist. The direction of the transformation had already reached the ankle. The transformation process was already 90% complete. The result was better than Yang Dingtian's imagination. Originally he thought that although it wouldn't be so painful, it would still be very painful. He didn't expect that it would only be a burst of numbness, and then there was no pain. 10 minutes later, Yanyan's profound veins transformation was completely completed. Yang Dingtian let out a long sigh of relief. After designing the plan, Yang Dingtian and his master had deduced many times, and felt that there shouldn't be any accidents. But after success, Yang Dingtian still let out a sigh of relief. At this time, Yanyan's profound veins were finally completely recovered. And the transformed profound veins were even more powerful than Yanyan's original profound veins. Therefore, at this moment, Yang Dingtian really had the urge to cry. Yanyan's cultivation had been deteriorating for the past few years. Now, Yanyan's Xian veins had finally recovered their extremely powerful talent. But the whole process wasn't completely. This foot of Naga clan's profound veins were made up of 2 parts. The foot's profound veins, the profound veins, the profound veins, profound veins, veins. Now, this 1 foot of profound vein was completely used to transform the blazing flame profound vein. So, there was only 1/10 of the profound veins, the lights, and was no, and no was no, it was no. Because all that was left was the fire attribute profound energy that remained in the profound veins. If this energy was placed in Yang Dingtian's body, it wouldn't be considered much. It would be considered relatively weak. However, although the current Yanyan possessed terrifying profound veins innate talent, she was still a profound veins expert. However, her Xian Qi cultivation was extremely weak. Last year, she was at the level of a 9-star Xian martial warrior. Now, she was probably at the level of a mid-level Xian martial warrior. Therefore, the explosion of the remaining fire Xian Qi energy was fatal to Yanyan. Because this profound Qi was in the profound veins and not in the Qi Ci, it possessed a fire-type offensive ability. "Darling, your profound veins have been completely transformed. The next step is to dissolve the remnant profound energy in the Naga's profound veins. Yang Dingtian, this requires the 2 of us to use the yin-yang devouring profound great technique to copulate. Then, I will quickly suck out this profound energy from your energy sea. It will not pass through my energy sea, but will directly dissolve into pure profound energy in your profound veins, and then re-enter your energy sea. It's already healed." Yanyan was pleasantly surprised. "It's already healed? That's impossible." Elder Wu Yan directly rushed over. Yanyan then closed her eyes to feel it. Then, she exclaimed, "It's really healed." My original profound veins were like a winding and narrow path, and incomparably congested. Now, my profound veins are vast and boundless, and incomparably smooth. It's as if there's wind flowing all the time. I even feel that my whole body is about to float. This feeling is even clearer than 5 years ago. My profound veins have really recovered, completely recovered, and are even stronger than before. After saying that, Yinyan's tears had already uncontrollably gushed out. Although she kept saying that she didn't care about her cultivation, she still cried tears of joy when her profound veins were completely recovered. It was as if a person in a wheelchair could suddenly stand up, and walk and run healthily and agilely. Elder Wuyin grabbed one of Yinyan's hands, and then injected profound energy. Immediately, she felt that Yinyan's profound veins were wide and smooth. This feeling even made her a little jealous. "It's really healed, it's really healed." Elder Wuyin muttered to himself, as if he was in a dream. He looked at Yang Dingtian. "For Yinyan's profound veins, I worried so much that I almost thought of every method. I even asked a great grandmaster of the Netherworld Sea for help. But there was almost nothing I could do. Even if I had Naga's profound vein crystal, I didn't dare to do it because the risk was too great. Now, Yang Dingtian, you actually did it by yourself. You not only have peerless talent, but also peerless wisdom. The method you used to save Yan, not only could we not do it, we couldn't even think about it. You're too shocking, Yang Dingtian. I want to take back what I said. You are completely worthy of Yan. You are more outstanding than all the young people of the Netherworld Sea, whether it is your love for Yan, your talent, or your wisdom." Elder Wuyin said, "Your ideas are completely unconstrained. You healed Yan's profound veins without any risk. Perhaps you are the only one in the world who can do it." Yang Dingtian immediately smiled embarrassedly. "Actually, this more than half a kilogram of holy water can be completely unnecessary. It's a complete waste." Elder Wuyin said, "Through your method, there is no risk at all, and Yan won't have any pain. It's better to be safe than sorry." Yang Dingtian said. Elder Wuyin looked at Yan and said, "Girl, your husband was just worried that you would be in too much pain, so he just spent 1,000 miles of territory to relieve your pain. And these painkillers were not used at all." Elder Wuyin was not exaggerating, this half a kilogram of holy water. If it was taken to the northwest Qin city, perhaps it could be exchanged for 1,000 miles of territory. Because this thing could almost bring the dead back to life. 1,000 miles of territory just to relieve my pain. Hearing Elder Wuyin's words, Yan's beautiful eyes suddenly became intoxicated. She could not bear it anymore, directly turned around, opened her mouth, and fiercely kissed Yang Dingtian. Her whole body seemed to be burning with passion and beauty. Sure enough, if you want to be romantic, waste first. An astronomical amount of waste could really move any woman, and Shimin Yan was no exception. Yan, don't be in a hurry, we still have to go through the last step. Yang Dingtian said. The last step, isn't it the yin-yang devour profound art? I'm very familiar with it, it should have been like this more than half a year ago. Yan said with a smile. The two of them couldn't be more familiar with the yin-yang devour profound art. They had already silently recited it hundreds of times in their hearts. Of course, in order to increase the success rate, they needed to use energy crystals to set up a formation. But for Yang Dingtian and Yan, there was no need for any formation. For Yang Dingtian, who had the mystic fire and the yin-yang qi transformation technique, it was enough to control everything. Granny. You still don't want to go out? Yan said. After hearing Yan's words, Elder Wuyin said angrily, You think I like to watch? I'm afraid of nightmares. Remember, you are now dissolving the mystic qi energy of Naga's mystic veins, and introducing this mystic qi into Yan's sea of qi. Don't be shameless. I know. Yan said, her eyes had been completely burned by the flames, blurred. Whether she really knew or not, only God knew. However, even if she forgot everything, it was impossible for Yang Dingtian to forget. He operated the yin-yang devour profound art according to the plan, sucking out all the powerful fire mystic qi energy from Yanyan's sea of qi, but not into his own sea of qi. After circulating in the mystic veins, he used the fire transformation technique to refine it into pure mystic qi, and then reintroduced it into Yanyan's sea of qi. This operation was repeated over and over again. Suddenly, Yanyan shook violently. Then, her beautiful eyes looked at the sky, and all her movements stopped. Her beautiful eyes instantly lost all focus. This was because her sea of qi was completely filled with mystic qi, and then suddenly expanded and exploded. She broke through. The remnant mystic qi of Naga's mystic veins was almost useless to Yang Dingtian. But to Yanyan, it was incomparably shocking. Of course, the reason why this powerful energy was able to enter Yanyan's sea of qi. It was because it was completely compressed by Yang Dingtian's attributeless mystic fire and Naga's mystic veins, and there was an energy black hole in her sea of qi to balance it. Otherwise, this energy, which was countless times more than the capacity of Yanyan's sea of qi, would have been completely smashed into pieces after entering Yanyan's sea of qi. In this way, Yanyan's sea of qi entered the void again and again, and broke through again and again. After a full hour, Yang Dingtian used the yin-yang devour profound art to completely absorb and dissolve the remnant mystic qi energy of Naga's mystic veins, and once again introduced it into Yanyan's sea of qi. After going through the void countless times, Yanyan did not know how many times she broke through. Then, the two of them continued to be so tired that they were about to collapse. At this time, the entire process of transforming and treating Yanyan was finally completely over. It was really funny. Before, Yanyan insisted on using the yin-yang devour profound art countless times, but Yang Dingtian did not agree. This time, the young couple finally used this evil method, but it was used on Yanyan. 5 hours later, Yang Dingtian woke up. Even if he was strong, he could not help but feel a little sore at this time. Yanyan was still in a deep sleep. Because the black hole crystal in her sea of qi was removed, and she had broken through many levels in succession, she, who was already exhausted, should not wake up without a full 24 hours of sleep. At this time, Elder Wuyan, who had been guarding by the side, opened his eyes, then reached out and put his hand on Yanyan's wrist, and transferred a stream of mystic qi. "Grandma, what is the grade of Yanyan's mystic veins talent now?" Yang Dingtian asked. She was originally close to the upper 8th grade. Infinitely close to the 9th grade. Elder Wuyan said, although it is not as good as Dongfang Bingling, it should be able to enter the top 10 in the world with this talent. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was pleasantly surprised in his heart. Not only did Yanyan's mystic veins completely recover, but after the transformation, their mystic veins talent was even higher than before. It was just that in the end, she did not break through to the 9th grade. It seemed that the 9th grade mystic veins could only be created by heaven and earth, and was not something that could be done by humans. Then what about her cultivation now? Yang Dingtian asked. He only remembered that Yanyan had broken through many times, but he didn't know how many times she had broken through. 9-star Great Mystic Martial Master. Elder Wuyan said, half a step away from Martial Mystic. In other words, this foot of purple Naga's mystic veins residual mystic qi energy allowed her to break through to the 30th grade. It was indeed a treasure of heaven and earth. However, perhaps it could not be considered a breakthrough, but a recovery. Moreover, it has not recovered Yanyan's cultivation from 6 years ago. 6 years ago, Yanyan was a 4-star martial mystic. Although she has not recovered her cultivation from 6 years ago, but with the mystic veins talent and your extremely powerful husband, her breakthrough will be very, very fast. I believe that it will not be long before she can become a good helper for you. Elder Wuyan said. Yang Dingtian nodded. Now, Yanyan's matter was finally over. The rest was up to him. There were only 2.5 days left until the end of the 3 days. After 2.5 days, he will have to fight Song Yu. If he succeeds, he will take Yanyan and leave the Sea of Hades. If he fails, he will die under Song Yu's sword, or become a complete cripple and become the lowest servant in the Sea of Hades. Granny has been working hard for a day, go rest. Yang Dingtian then took out a cup of holy water and said, I heard from Yan Yan that Granny was once seriously injured by someone and has not recovered yet. I think this cup of holy water should be useful to you, please accept it. This is priceless, are you sure you want to give it to me? Elder Wuyan said. It's not a gift, it's filial piety. Yang Dingtian said, you love Yan Yan so much, I also see you as my own grandmother. Elder Wuyan sighed, took the holy water and walked outside, saying, about the method to break through to Marshal Revered in 3 days, come out and I will tell you. But I must warn you in advance, the consequences of doing this are unimaginable, it is completely the consequence of piercing the sky. Note, brothers, please vote, please support. Chapter 306. What consequences? Will it have any effect on Granny? Yang Dingtian asked. As soon as he said this, Elder Wuyan looked at Yang Dingtian with a gentler gaze. He shook his head and said, it has no effect on me, but for you, the consequences will be very, very serious. Yang Dingtian said, if there is no other way, then no matter how serious the consequences are, I will accept it. Granny, tell me, what is it? Elder Wuyan nodded and said, have you heard of Miju Tuchuo? Yang Dingtian was stunned, then nodded. Of course he had heard of Miju Tuchuo. Not only had he heard of him, he had even pretended to be Miju Tuchuo himself. He is an alchemist of the Netherworld Sea, a beast speaker. If you want to break through to Marshal Saint in 2.5 days, maybe he will have a way. Elder Wuyan said, but I can't guarantee it. Maybe he doesn't have a way, or maybe he doesn't want to. No matter what, I should try. Where is Senior Miju now? Yang Dingtian asked. In the undersea dungeon of the Netherworld Sea. Elder Wuyan said, and this matter also needs Yan Yan, because for the past 6 months, Yan Yan has been delivering food to him. Dungeon? Yang Dingtian said in shock, why is he in the dungeon? Because he obtained a treasure, much more precious than your Naga's Xian veins. Elder Wuyan said. Yang Dingtian was surprised, what treasure is more precious than the purple Naga's Xian veins? A complete Naga's demon core, and a golden Naga's demon core. Elder Wuyan said. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian exclaimed. Legend has it that Miju Tuchuo obtained a golden Naga's Xian vein crystal. Because of this, he disappeared from this world. Yang Dingtian had heard this rumor before, and when he pretended to be Miju Tuchuo in the Dongli grassland, he used this rumor in front of Yin Tianchong. However, he had always thought that this rumor was false. Unexpectedly, Miju Duda did not obtain a golden Naga profound vein crystal, but the even more precious golden Naga demon core. The demon core of the Naga? How could this be? Furthermore, it was a golden Naga demon core. The value of this item was far beyond the purple Naga race's Xian veins. First of all, this demon core contained a terrifying amount of profound energy. Whether it was a Naga or a demon beast, the Qi energy was not stored in the demon core, but in the sea of Qi. However, the demon core also contained a small amount of Xian Qi energy. If it was an ordinary demon core, or even a 1,000-year-old demon core, the Xian Qi energy contained in it would not be of much use to Yang Dingtian. However, the profound Qi energy contained within the Naga clan's demon core, even though it was only a small portion of its own profound Qi. But for Yang Dingtian, it was also extremely shocking. It could be said that the residual Xian Qi in the Naga's demon core might be enough for Yang Dingtian to break through to the martial venerable realm. An ordinary Naga was already the top class in this world. And the golden demon core was a color that only members of the Naga royalty would have. So, how shocking was the Xian Qi energy contained in it? Of course, although the Xian Qi contained in it was extremely shocking, it was nothing compared to the other values of this demon core. The most precious thing about this demon core was the soul and memory it contained. Yes, there was a part of the memory in the demon core. That was why Horror Mountain Village's Zhao Wuji used the best demon core to forge the soul's sword and produced the violent and cruel sword spirit. Of course, at least 10,000 years had passed since the death of the Naga, so the soul, memory, and Xian Qi energy in this demon core had dissipated a lot. However, the little bit of soul and memory that remained was also extremely shocking. If an extremely powerful soul master could extract the memory inside, even if it was just a few words, it would bring an extremely shocking harvest. Of course, it was too difficult to do this. There shouldn't be such a powerful soul master in this world. And the most direct use of the soul in the demon core was to be used to feed the soul sword. In this world, perhaps there was no soul more suitable to feed the sword spirit than the soul of the Naga. The domineering aura of a king that looked down on the world, the arrogance and momentum of standing at the top of the world, could completely make the cultivation of the sword spirit have a qualitative leap. It could be said that if the residual soul of the Naga royalty was used to feed the sword spirit, the time for the sword spirit to be born could be shortened by more than half. Senior Miju's position in the Netherworld Sea is extremely high. Even if he obtained the Naga royalty's demon core, why was he imprisoned? Yang Dingtian asked, is it because Sect Master Wu Yu wanted to snatch the Naga's demon core? Of course not. Elder Wu Yan said, although the Naga royalty's demon core is extremely precious, Sect Master Wu Yu would not go to the extent of scheming to snatch it. Moreover, if he wanted it, he could have just asked. The reason why Dudamiju was imprisoned was because of some unspeakable reason. He tried to escape from the Netherworld Sea and stole more than a dozen treasures of the Netherworld Sea and killed 17 disciples. Therefore, he was seriously injured by Sect Master Wu Yu and imprisoned in the underwater prison. So the Naga royalty's demon core is still in Senior Miju's hands? Yang Dingtian asked. Yes. Elder Wu Yan said, so, he is the only person who can help you break through to the revered level in 2.5 days, as long as he is willing to give you the Naga royalty's demon core. Although it is a waste to use this demon core to help you break through to the revered level. But for now, it seems that this is the only way. Do you think he will be willing to give me the demon core? Yang Dingtian asked. Of course not. Elder Wu Yan said, so, I'm basically wasting my time talking about this method. No matter who gets the Naga royalty's demon core, they will not hand it over, let alone Miju. This person is famous for his indifference and selfishness. After that, Elder Wu Yan looked at Yang Dingtian, so, you can try, but don't get your hopes up. We will think of another way. Yang Dingtian nodded. He is full of hatred for everyone in the Netherworld Sea, but because Yan Yan accidentally saw him when he was imprisoned, she said a lot to him and then often brought him food, so Yan Yan is the only person he likes. Elder Wu Yan said, in 2 hours, wake up Yan Yan and let her take you to see Dudamiju. We don't need 4 hours. We can go now. Suddenly, Yan Yan's voice came from behind. At this time, her voice was completely hoarse, and she looked very cute. Then, there was the sound of water splashing, and she stood up from the jade bucket. Moreover, at this time, she looked sleepy and lazy, but her whole body was full of the light of happiness. Why don't you sleep a little longer? Yang Dingtian asked. Your matter is not settled yet, I can't sleep. Yan Yan said, I will take you to see old man Miju. But you have to be mentally prepared, he looks very scary. He reached out and picked up Yan Yan's delicate body, and the water flowed down. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's eyes fell on Yan Yan's sea of qi, and he was in a daze. Yan Yan blushed, stared at him and whispered, stupid face, haven't you seen enough? Yang Dingtian kissed her little mouth and said, you are so beautiful, I can never see enough. But, I am looking here. After saying that, Yang Dingtian pointed at Yan Yan's sea of qi. In the center of her snow-white and flawless lower abdomen, there was a faint black and red ball, vaguely in the shape of a flame, and it was moving. In the madness just now, I almost forgot something important. There is still something in your sea of qi that has not been taken out. Yang Dingtian said. What is it? Yan Yan asked. The dark crystal wrapped in flames, the terrifying thing that created the energy black hole. Yang Dingtian said, just now, it swallowed 1/3 of the purple Naga's Xian vein energy, so it is no longer destructive and stopped swallowing. And just now, after we completed the profound devouring great technique, we only cared about sleeping and forgot to take this thing out. how do we take it out? Do we reach in and take it out? Yan Yan said. Although it is now a dormant dark crystal, it is still difficult to force it out with your cultivation. We still need to use the profound devouring great technique to suck it out. Yang Dingtian said. When these words came out, Yin Yan's delicate body trembled, and she said timidly, again? I can't take it anymore. Don't worry, I will be very careful this time. My movements will be very fast, and it will be done in a moment. Yang Dingtian said. Then, okay. Yan Yan gritted her teeth and said that it was said to be a moment, but in fact, it was another half an hour. The dormant dark crystal was now forced to the center of Yang Dingtian's palm. The energy black hole, in Yan Yan's sea of qi, was just a virtual body of energy, but it still had a physical substance. Yang Dingtian needed to force it out of her body inch by inch. Out! Yang Dingtian's profound energy suddenly burst out, and an extremely small ball of darkness suddenly flew out of his palm. Yang Dingtian looked closer and said, "This is the world's #1 strange poison, the dark crystal that far surpasses the deep-sea profound poison. This was refined from tens of thousands of kilograms of seawater from the center of the celestial Red Sea. Tens of thousands of kilograms of seawater was only able to refine such a small ball. Originally, Yang Dingtian thought that it was about the size of a speck of dust. But now, it seemed that it was not even the size of a speck of dust. In the Earth era, almost no one would be able to see this dark crystal with their naked eyes. Yang Dingtian visually estimated that this thing's diameter should be less than 1/100th of a millimeter. And it was this dark crystal that was so small that it could not be seen with the naked eye, that completely devoured Yin Yan's profound veins talent, as well as her more than 10 years of cultivation. Yan Yan, who was so cruel to do such a thing to you? Yang Dingtian asked. Yin Yan's expression changed, and her beautiful eyes flashed with incomparable pain. She said, "Their target was not me, but father. Brother, I will tell you about this matter when we reach Cloud Heaven City, okay?" This matter was the most painful secret in Yin Yan's heart. At this moment, she was not completely prepared to tell him everything. Of course, at this moment, she had already given her heart and soul to Yang Dingtian, so she had already decided to tell him. But perhaps she needed to return to her own home before she would have the courage to tell him the whole secret. Okay. Yang Dingtian said gently. Brother, then what do we do with this evil thing? Yan Yan asked, can we destroy it? So that it won't harm the human world. I will try to use the mystic flame and see if I can burn it. Yang Dingtian said. Whoosh! A flame suddenly emerged from Yang Dingtian's finger. The color of the flame became redder and thinner. At this moment, the mystic flame that Yang Dingtian summoned had condensed the terrifying energy to the extreme, so it was almost indestructible and could destroy anything in this world. Previously, in order to forge the youngling sword, Yang Dingtian had to find the best earth fire to melt the 10,000-year-old bloody black gold. At this moment, the flame in Yang Dingtian's palm could instantly burn a 10,000-year-old bloody black gold into ashes. You might be the darkest thing in this world. Now, I will completely destroy you. Yang Dingtian said. Then, the terrifying million-spirit demon flame rushed towards the dark crystal to devour it. If the energy black hole was merely an illusory body of energy, Yang Dingtian's mystic flame would be helpless. But at this moment it obviously had a physical body, so the million-spirit demon fire was absolutely indestructible. The terrifying million-spirit demon fire burned this extremely dark thing in a frenzy. The darkness crystal gradually changed color. From the extreme black color, it became black-red, and finally, it became red. It was almost the same color as the mystic flame. When the red color reached the extreme, the darkness crystal would be completely destroyed. At this moment, something extremely shocking happened. Suddenly, the darkness crystal that was burning red became extremely restless. It started to jump crazily, as if it was trying to break free from something. Boom! Suddenly, the surrounding world darkened. The house that Yang Dingtian was in shook violently. The moonlight outside also dimmed. Then, not only did the darkness crystal not get destroyed, it suddenly expanded 10 times and became the size of a speck of dust. Then, Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan felt their bodies become completely cold and dark. The darkness crystal that was the size of a speck of dust became completely dark again. An energy black hole formed in Yang Dingtian's palm. It was 10 times stronger than the one in Yan Yan's energy sea. At this moment, Yang Dingtian had completely sensed the terrifying devouring power of this energy black hole because he could feel that his chi vessel was extremely restless. All the mystic meridians in his body were getting restless. Even his soul spirit and spiritual energy were getting restless. It was as though an opening would open up at any moment and pour out violently before being devoured by this energy black hole. This thing was too shocking. At this time, Yin Yan's expression had changed completely. She was about to faint completely. The light in her eyes was on the verge of collapse and could be extinguished at any time. Yan Yan was in danger. This small energy black hole was actually going to devour everything. What's going on? Elder Wuyan suddenly rushed in from outside and pulled Yan Yan behind him to protect her. I sucked the darkness crystal out of Yan Yan's body and burned it with the mystic flame. In the end, not only was it not destroyed, it became 10 times stronger, Yang Dingtian said. Heavens! Elder Wuyan's expression changed. What should we do? What should we do? Quickly throw it away and destroy it. Otherwise, your entire cultivation base will be destroyed in an instant. However, there was no doubt that it could not be destroyed. Throw it away. No matter where it was thrown, the people around it would be completely finished. And if it fell into the hands of other people from the Netherworld Sea, the consequences would be unimaginable. At this time, the burning mystic flame suddenly disappeared and drilled into the darkness crystal. The mystic flame that was burning it was actually devoured. It could even devour mystic flame. Yang Dingtian was completely shocked. Then in this world, what could stop this darkness crystal? Nothing at all. Just a small speck of dust was so shocking. If it was the size of a basketball, then the life and energy of the entire world would be completely devoured. Yang Dingtian was burning with anxiety. He did not know where to put it. Inside the spatial ring, there were many energy treasures inside. Once this thing was placed inside, the treasures inside the spatial ring would be completely destroyed. Now, there was only one way to make it go silent. That was to let it devour enough energy, and let it go silent again. But now, it was more than 10 times stronger than before. To make it go silent, at least 10 times the energy of the purple Naga race's mystic veins was needed. Where was he going to find such energy? But at this time, things changed again. The darkness crystal that had devoured the mystic flames suddenly exploded. Whoosh! Then, a dark flame appeared in the air. That's right, a black flame. Yang Dingtian had never seen a dark flame, including Elder Wuyan, had never seen a dark flame before. The darkness crystal and the mystic flame merged and became a brand new thing, the dark flame. After transforming into the dark flame, the suction force that wanted to devour everything disappeared. Light was restored in the room, and the moonlight outside was also restored. This black flame burned quietly. Suddenly, it tilted its head and gently approached Yang Dingtian. It was like a naughty child that came to smell Yang Dingtian's breath. Then, as if it sensed something, it actually jumped and cheered. Grandma, what is this thing? Yang Dingtian said in shock. Another mystic flame, Yang Dingtian, you just created a brand new mystic flame. Elder Wuyan said, you used a part of the million spirit demon flame and the darkness crystal to create a brand new mystic flame. Yang Dingtian was completely shocked. It could be done like this? Of course, this is only an infant mystic flame, and it's still very weak. Elder Wuyan said, but, when it grows up, it will become the most powerful and most terrifying mystic flame in the world. This mystic flame is comparable to the entire hell. The million spirit demon flame, the king of all mystic flames, was an item of extreme yang. The darkness crystal, the pinnacle of darkness energy in this world, was the overlord of darkness. Now, the two had combined to create a brand new mystic flame, a mystic flame baby that could be named the King of Darkness. Also, this mystic flame has recognized you as its master, Elder Wuyan said. Yang Dingtian said in shock, then what should I do now? Absorb it into my sea of qi? Of course not, Elder Wuyan said, if you do that, it will devour everything in your sea of qi. You can't raise it in your sea of qi, you have to put it in another place. But, there is no such place in this world. So, the only outcome is that this mystic flame baby will dissipate and perish. It will perish? Yang Dingtian said in disbelief, it was formed by the combination of the darkness crystal and the million-spirit demon flame, how can it perish? If it is the million-spirit demon flame, because it has the same fate as you, it will not perish unless you die. If it is the darkness crystal, it will be invincible and will never perish. But after combining to form the mystic flame, it will have life, and it will have no place to live. Its energy will continue to overflow until it completely dissipates and perishes. How could this be? If he let it enter his sea of qi, this mystic flame baby will devour everything. But if it doesn't enter his sea of qi, it will dissipate and perish. It is the King of Darkness, maybe it shouldn't exist in this world, just let it perish, Yang Dingtian said. No. Elder Wuyan said, do you know about the World Gate? You should know about the border protectors, you should know about the Celestial Red Sea. Yang Dingtian, of course I know. In the Celestial Red Sea, anyone who enters will temporarily lose all their mystic qi. So if you want to break this rule, you have to destroy the border protectors in the Celestial Red Sea, you have to pass through the World Gate, and maybe the only way is through this mystic flame of yours. When it is strong enough, it can destroy all the darkness energy in the Celestial Red Sea. Elder Wuyan said, its appearance may be preordained by the heavens, the fate of this world. Now, what you need is to give it a place to live. Then, you can find food for it in the future to make it stronger. What kind of food do you think it will eat? Yang Dingtian asked. Energy, all kinds of energy, the best would be mystic flames, the more the better. Elder Wuyan said. Yang Dingtian was completely shocked. In this world, every mystic flame was extremely precious, anyone who obtained a mystic flame could become a Grandmaster level expert, even this Elder Wuyan in front of him didn't have a real mystic flame. And this mystic flame in front of him actually wanted to eat mystic flames as food. From the moment it was born, it was destined to be the overlord of energy. Even though it was still very weak right now. What he needed now was to find a place for it to live. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian thought of something and said, Grandma, can it live in a soul ring? It is the soul ring of the evil soul art, it is specially used to store puppet battle souls. You have a soul ring? You learned the evil soul art? Elder Wuyan asked. I didn't learn it, it was Duge Shao who forced the evil soul art into my mind, I have never used it before. Yang Dingtian asked, can it live in a soul ring? Of course, the soul ring is an independent energy space, completely isolated from the outside world, the mystic flame baby can live in it. Elder Wuyan said. Immediately, Yang Dingtian took out the soul ring from the space ring, then used his mystic qi to guide the mystic flame into the soul ring. Although the mystic flame baby was unwilling, it wriggled and entered the soul ring. It wanted to live in Yang Dingtian's sea of qi, but it was barely acceptable to enter the soul ring. There are many remaining evil puppet battle souls in the soul ring, it shouldn't be a problem for the mystic flame, right? Yang Dingtian asked. Of course it's a problem, they will be eaten up, just nice for the mystic flame to eat. Elder Wuyan said. Yang Dingtian held the soul ring in his hand, and indeed, the moment the mystic flame entered, the terrifying coldness and the miserable howls disappeared instantly. The evil fighting soul that remained inside was completely devoured by the darkness profound flame. Although the evil puppet battle souls were very scary, compared to the mystic flame, they were like ants facing a king. Grandma, when can I lead it into my sea of qi? Yang Dingtian asked, because the mystic flame could only share the same fate as its master when it was led into the sea of qi, and could be used as it wished. I don't know. Elder Wu Yan shook his head and said, but when it can enter your sea of qi, you will know. It is still a newborn baby now. When it grows up and is invincible, you have to be patient. Yang Dingtian nodded. Alright, time is of the essence. You and Yan Yan should hurry and find Miju Tuchuo. No matter what method you use, you have to get his golden demon core of Naga royalty and break through to Martial Honorable in the shortest time possible. Elder Wuyan said. Yes, Grandma, we will go and find Miju Tuchuo now. More than an hour later. Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan put on their clothes again, took the food boxes, got on a small boat and rowed towards the dungeon at the bottom of the Sea of Hades. Whether they could break through to Martial Honorable, whether they could break through to Songyu, and whether they could bring Yan Yan out of the Sea of Hades and return to Cloud Sky City would depend on whether they could get the priceless Naga royalty demon core from Miju Tuchuo. The Naga royalty was close to that of a demigod, note, begging for support, begging for monthly votes. Chapter 307. While Yang Dingtian was rowing the boat, Yan Yan was lying lazily on the other side of the boat. Her beautiful eyes were blurred and happy as she looked at Yang Dingtian's face. Brother, compared to Songyu, you're really not handsome, Yan Yan said. Yang Dingtian said, a handsome man should have an ugly wife, and an ugly man should marry a delicate woman. Why do I need to be handsome? It's enough that you're beautiful. Those handsome men are already so good-looking, so it's better to leave a beauty like Yan Yan to those of us who aren't handsome. But some people say that all women look the same after blowing out the lamp. Yan Yan said, after getting into bed, even if a woman is as beautiful as Dongfang Bingling, men can't see her clearly. Where did you hear this nonsense? Yang Dingtian said, after blowing out the lamp, even if the eyes can't see, the heart can still see. A man will be more energetic when his wife is beautiful. Miju Tuchuo's cell was quite far away. Although time was very tight, Yang Dingtian still rowed slowly. The sea was as calm as a mirror, and the sun rose. Such a beautiful and romantic scenery. The two of them were alone on the boat. Yang Dingtian was not willing to miss such a romantic moment. Just as Yang Dingtian was chatting with Yan Yan, a boat came over from not far away at a very fast speed. There were two men and a woman on the boat. The men were handsome, and the woman was gorgeous. They should be disciples of the Netherworld Sea. From afar, they could see that the two young men were desperately trying to please the gorgeous woman. The gorgeous woman, on the other hand, looked at the sea indifferently. However, when they saw Yan Yan, the eyes of the two male disciples suddenly lit up. Their gazes moved away from the gorgeous woman and landed on Yan Yan's face. Then, they sped up the boat and rowed towards Yan Yan. Suddenly, the gorgeous woman's face turned cold, and her eyes were full of hostility as she looked at Yan Yan. Miss Yan Yan, are you delivering food to venerable extermination again? You're so pure and kind. As soon as he approached, the man in the blue robe immediately complimented Yan Yan. Yan Yan sat up straight, turned her face away, and ignored him. At this time, another young man on the boat said, Miss Yan Yan, when did you hire a laborer to row the boat? Look at his bronze face, he's really good at rowing. It's stable and comfortable. Yan Yan still ignored her and treated her like a mosquito. But Miss Yan Yan, even if you're looking for a laborer to row the boat, you shouldn't find someone so unpresentable. You just have to casually call, and any of our brothers from the Sea of Hades will immediately come to your door. I guarantee that they'll row better than this servant. That person continued to smile when he saw that Yan Yan was ignoring him. Hearing this person directly calling Yang Dingtian a servant, Yan Yan stood up and said to the gorgeous woman on the boat, Sister Yanhua, are you still going to tolerate these two flies? Let's each kill one of them. After saying this, Yan Yan directly picked up her sword and jumped toward the search boat. She pulled out her sword and slashed at the man with the foul mouth. The gorgeous woman was also furious. After a moment of hesitation, she also pulled out her sword and slashed at the other man. Immediately, the two disciples of the Sea of Hades desperately dodged. Unfortunately, the two women were too ruthless. After being slashed several times, they quickly jumped into the sea and fled. Sister Yanhua, are you happy? Yan Yan asked. Happy? The gorgeous woman gasped for breath. The rise and fall of her chest was very spectacular. Looking at Yan Yan's beautiful face, she said with jealousy, but if you let me slash your face twice, I'll be even happier. This woman really hated Yan Yan. Since Yan Yan came, her position in the hearts of the young disciples of the Sea of Hades dropped sharply. Although Yan Yan's cultivation was so weak that it was almost negligible, her charm directly killed all the female disciples of the Sea of Hades. Yan Yan laughed and held the gorgeous woman's arm, saying, "Good sister, don't worry. I'm leaving soon. You don't have to hate me anymore." Leaving? The gorgeous woman said, "How can you leave? You owe the Sea of Hades a debt that can't be repaid in 10 lifetimes. Don't even think about leaving. My husband is coming to pick me up." Yan Yan said, her expression full of pride. "Is this really your husband?" The gorgeous woman looked at Yang Dingtian up and down and said, "Heavens, he's not worthy of you. He's not worthy of you in any way. Yan Yan, your taste is very ordinary. I don't like this kind of man. The 2 people you just killed, any one of them is stronger than him." Hearing the 2 women talk about him without restraint, Yang Dingtian touched his nose in embarrassment. Yan Yan heard the other party belittle her husband and immediately became angry, saying, "Tch, what do you know? Do you know Dongfang Bingling?" "Nonsense, I don't know." The fairy of the 9th heaven, the world's most beautiful woman, the world's only successor to the martial saint, the future leader of the Taekwondo League. The gorgeous woman said, her mouth flattened. Her tone was full of hostility and jealousy, as well as unconcealable worship. "Dongfang Bingling is so powerful, but she still fell in love with my husband. Don't you think he's powerful?" Yan Yan said disdainfully. Yang Dingtian was completely speechless. This girl hated Dongfang Bingling to the core, but in order to give face to her husband, she did not hesitate to use Dongfang Bingling as a stepping stone for Yang Dingtian. "Really?" that gorgeous woman exclaimed. She then looked at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. She took a few more careful glances and said, "You don't say. If you take a closer look, your husband is really filled with a strange charm." "Nonsense, there's one more thing that will scare you to death." Yan Yan said, "My husband is the only person to enter the Netherworld Sea in hundreds of years. Even sect leader Wu Yu can't do anything to him." Heavens! This time, the gorgeous woman looked at Yang Dingtian with eyes full of little stars. For her, sect leader Wu Yu was a heaven-like figure. Whoever dared to go against sect leader Wu Yu, she would worship them. Yang Dingtian on the side was completely dumbfounded. How could he not see that Yan Yan was such a gossipy little woman before? Next, the 2 women whispered and talked until they were about to reach the island where Miju Tuchuo was imprisoned. Only then did they reluctantly separate. "Sister, this Netherworld Sea is a big prison. It's so boring. It's fun outside. You can find a way to get out in the future." Yan Yan said. "In your dreams, I can't go out even if I want to." The woman was full of envy. Then, Yan Yan waved her hand and jumped back to Yang Dingtian's ship. "Sister, goodbye, goodbye." The gorgeous woman threw a coquettish glance at Yang Dingtian and said, "Come on, junior brother Yang, defeat that hypocrite Song Yu." Yang Dingtian smiled at her. After her ship was far away, Yang Dingtian said, "The Netherworld Sea is really different from other forces." Yan Yan said, "Yes, the interior of the Netherworld Sea is very free, but it's also like a prison. It's very undisciplined, very cold, and very dangerous." Soon, the island where Miju Tuchuo was imprisoned was in front of them. This island was different from other islands. Along the way, Yang Dingtian passed by the ugliest island was Wuyan Island. The other islands were lush and full of flowers. But the island in front of them was uglier and more ferocious than Wuyan Island. The whole island was black and red. The black stones were full of deep cracks, and blood-red magma flowed through the cracks. Yan Yan and Yang Dingtian jumped onto the island. There was no guard on the island. Yan Yan took Yang Dingtian to the center of the island, where there was an entrance. The two of them went down the steps of the entrance. They went down, down, and down, until they reached the dungeon of the Netherworld Sea after a few hundred meters. There were many cells in this dungeon, and each cell had a thick door. Yan Yan came to a door and pushed it lightly. The thick stone door immediately opened. Instantly, a boiling hot aura hit them in the face. Instantly, the boiling hot aura made breathing painful. The cell inside was about 200 to 300 square meters, but most of it was surging magma. A ferocious boulder was exposed from the magma. And the prisoner was chained on this boulder. This prisoner should be the world's #1 alchemist, Miju Tuchuo. At this time, he was really neither human nor ghost. According to Elder Wuyan, he had been imprisoned for more than 10 years. At this time, his hair was almost all gone, and what was left was gray and dry. His body was completely withered, and there was only a layer of skin on his skeleton. The original color of his clothes could no longer be seen. At this time, he was lying on the ground, and he looked smaller than a dog. He was as light as a withered leaf. However, after Yan Yan went in, he suddenly sat up. He abruptly sat up and said in ecstasy, "Girl, you're here. Are you here? What delicious food did you bring for me?" At this time, Yang Dingtian finally saw his face. It was really a face like Gui Gui's. There was almost no flesh on his face, and his eye sockets were deep, making his eyes even bigger. His nose and mouth were protruding, and it was comparable to Gollum in The Lord of the Rings. In fact, it was even more terrifying because his nose was too long and sharp. Then, he saw Yang Dingtian. His eyes revealed a hint of a beast-like glint, and he said sternly, "Little girl, who is he? Who is he?" "He's my husband," Yan Yan said. Miju Tuchuo suddenly jumped up and said, "How can you have a husband? How can you? You're so beautiful and pure. You shouldn't be able to marry in your lifetime. How can you have a husband? Let him go, let him go. I'll sleep and forget about this. The next time you come, I'll be a perfect and pure little girl again." Yang Dingtian was really speechless. After more than 10 years of imprisonment, this Miju Tuchuo had become a little perverted. Of course, he didn't have any ulterior motives towards Yan Yan. But in these 10 years, Yan Yan was the only beautiful thing he had come into contact with. Mentally, he wanted to monopolize this beauty and not let anyone else taint it. Because in these 10 years, Yan Yan was the only one who came to see him. She was also the only one who came to bring him food and chat with him. For more than a year, Yan Yan was free in the Sea of Spirits. Except for a few places, she could go anywhere. It was purely a coincidence that she came to this island and saw Miju Tuchuo in the dungeon. Because of her kind heart, she pitied Miju Tuchuo. Therefore, she would deliver food to Miju Tuchuo every 2 or 3 days and chat with him. Although Miju Tuchuo would never starve to death as long as he took pills. "Old man, I'm leaving soon. This might be the last time I bring you food," Yan Yan said. "No." Miju Tuchuo suddenly screamed, "You can't leave, you can't leave. You can't do this. My only wish to live every day is to wait for you to bring me food and talk to me. You can't leave, you can't leave. My husband is coming to pick me up. I'm leaving the Sea of Spirits with him," Yan Yan said. "No, no." Miju Tuchuo screamed and rushed over, baring his fangs and brandishing his claws. He roared, "If he wants to take you away, I'll kill him. Kill him, I'll tear him into pieces." After saying that, he rushed toward Yang Dingtian with all his might. His face was ferocious, and he bared his sharp teeth. Although only half of his teeth were left, he looked even more ferocious and terrifying. However, it was obvious that he couldn't rush over. Because something terrifying was inserted into his lower abdomen, where his sea of chi was. It seemed to be a rope, but it also seemed to be some kind of terrible tentacle. The other end of the tentacle went all the way into the magma. The tentacle inserted into Miju Tuchuo's sea of chi not only made it impossible for him to leave, but also made it impossible for him to use any of his chi. Miju Tuchuo, who was imprisoned, was really living a life worse than death. "Grandpa, can you help me with something?" Yen Yen said. Miju Tuchuo nodded desperately and said, okay, as long as you don't leave, I'm willing to help you with anything. Can you give that golden Naga royalty demon core to my husband? Yen Yen said. No, that's impossible. Miju Tuchuo's crazy face suddenly became calm, and then he looked at Yen Yen gloomily and said, "Little girl, did you come to bring me food and chat with me just for this Naga demon core? Is that right?" As he spoke, Miju Tuchuo's eyes became crazier and more dangerous. Yen Yen did not act coquettishly, but looked at Miju Tuchuo seriously and said, "In order to save me, my husband went to the Netherworld Sea and offended Lord Wu Jin. They want to destroy my husband's kung fu and keep him as the lowest slave in the Netherworld Sea. If he wants to leave, he has to defeat Song Yu. If he wants to defeat Song Yu, he has to break through to Marshal Venerable. We can't do anything. The Naga royalty demon core in your hand is his only hope of breaking through to Marshal Venerable." Although Yen Yen did not explain, Miju Tuchuo's expression relaxed. He believed that Yen Yen did not bring him food for his treasure, which was very important to him. Miju Tuchuo fell into deep thought and muttered to himself, "This golden demon core of Naga royalty is all I have. It is because of it that I am imprisoned here. Now, you want me to give it to your husband?" "Yes, Grandpa." Yen Yen said, "My husband will give you something in exchange." "Exchange?" Miju Tuchuo laughed and said, "What exchange? The demon core of Naga royalty is very precious. What can he give you in exchange?" "Ridiculous." Then, Miju Tuchuo's eyes turned to Yang Dingtian and said, "Boy, you want to exchange it for the Naga royalty demon core in my hand?" Yang Dingtian nodded and said, "Yes, senior." "What are you going to give me in exchange?" Miju Tuchuo asked. 2 feet of Naga purple Xian veins. It should be able to heal your damaged Xian veins and Qi Si. Also, I have holy water that can bring the dead back to life. Yang Dingtian said. "You have Naga Xian veins?" Miju Tuchuo exclaimed, "And that so-called holy water, where did you get it?" Yang Dingtian said, "The Naga Xian veins were given to me by the border guardian Tantai. I got the holy water from an ancient secret realm." "The border guardian? You have seen the border guardian?" Miju Tuchuo trembled. "Yes," Yang Dingtian said. "You have seen the border guardian and you are still alive? You have even been to an ancient secret realm? Who are you?" Miju Tuchuo asked. "I am Yen Yen's husband, Dongfang Minmi's last disciple," Yang Dingtian said. "Dongfang Minmi?" Miju Tuchuo pursed his lips and said, "He is just an overconfident person. There is nothing special about him." Then, Miju Tuchuo stared at Yang Dingtian with burning eyes and sneered, "Do you really want to exchange it for the Naga royalty demon core in my hand?" "Yes," Yang Dingtian said. "All right." Miju Tuchuo said, "But I don't want the purple Naga Xian veins or that so-called holy water. I only want one thing. As long as you give me that thing, I will give you the Naga royalty demon core." "What thing?" Yang Dingtian asked. Chapter 308. Duda Miju didn't answer. "What is it?" Yang Dingtian asked again, "Senior, what do you want me to give you in exchange for the Naga royalty?" Duda Miju pointed to Yen Yen next to Yang Dingtian and said, She will stay with me." Yang Dingtian's eyes turned cold and he said coldly, "Senior, I don't even want to answer your question. Besides, I don't want to hear it from your mouth a second time. I don't want much." Duda Miju said, "I just want her to chat with me every day and bring me food. Until the day I die, she can leave and go out to be with you." Yang Dingtian said indifferently, "Senior, I sympathize with your experience. However, I came here for Yen Yen's freedom. Do you think I will sacrifice her freedom in exchange for something?" Dudamiju looked at Yan Yan and said, "Girl, do you want to help your husband? Do you want him to become stronger? As long as you stay with your grandfather, I will give him the Naga royalty's demon core." After saying that, Dudamiju looked at Yan Yan with shining eyes. Yang Dingtian also looked at Yan Yan. Yan Yan shook her head and said, "That's impossible, grandfather. I have been separated from my husband for more than a year. I don't want to be separated from him again. I want to be with him. I am my husband's woman. Everything I have is his. If he said no, then it was no. It doesn't matter if you don't want to exchange the Naga royalty's demon core." Dudamiju said in a sharp voice, "Are you going to watch your husband die in Songyu's hands? So what? I will die with him anyway." Yan Yan smiled and said, "Dying together is not bad." Dudamiju's eyes turned cold and he said coldly, "In that case, you can go." Then, he slowly closed his eyes, not prepared to say another word. "Farewell, senior." Yang Dingtian then held Yan Yan's hand and turned to leave. When he reached the stone door, Yang Dingtian suddenly remembered something and turned back. "All of you, scram!" Seeing Yang Dingtian turn around, Miju Tuchuo said coldly, "Either you exchange Yan Yan for the Naga demon nucleus, or you scram. There is no third option." Yang Dingtian walked in front of Dudamiju and said, "Senior, Yan Yan can't come to see you anymore. That's why I'm giving you a gift to help you pass this lonely time." "Hee, what kind of trick are you trying to pull? You want to move me by retreating in order to advance? You want me to give you the Naga royalty demon core? Dream on." Extermination Duda sneered disdainfully. Yang Dingtian didn't say anything. He directly pulled out his sword and cut off a layer of the stone slab in front of Dudamiju, making a smooth and flat square. Then, he used his sword to draw a grid and made a go board. Then, he used his sword to dig out a stone and grinded it into chess pieces. Of course, the stones here were all black, and 181 black chess pieces were ground out. As for the white chess pieces, the ground chess pieces would turn white after being burned with the mystic flame. After making the Go board, Yang Dingtian explained the rules of Go to Miju Tuchuo clearly. "That's all. Next, my left and right hands will play chess. Please take a look," Yang Dingtian said. Then, Yang Dingtian played chess with himself. His left hand controlled the white chess pieces, and his right hand controlled the black chess pieces. Step by step, he played chess. In less than half of the game, Miju Tuchuo, who was full of disdain and cursing, fell silent. He was completely immersed in the game. Then, he grabbed the white chess pieces and played with Yang Dingtian. In the first game, Miju Tuchuo lost terribly. In the second game, he lost terribly as well. In the third game, Miju Tuchuo's Go skills improved greatly. In the fourth game, in the fifth game, after a full 10 hours. Yang Dingtian threw down the chess pieces in his hand and said to Miju Tuchuo, "Senior, it's going to be dark soon. Yan Yan and I will go back. As you can see, you won't get tired of playing Go, and there's no end to it. You can play with yourself and pass the infinite time." Miju Tuchuo's eyes reluctantly left the Go board. Then, he smiled at Yang Dingtian and said, "Your Go is very interesting. Who invented it?" "In this world, I'm the first to make Go," Yang Dingtian said. "You?" Miju Tuchuo said, "You don't look like someone who is as wise as the sea." Yang Dingtian smiled and didn't refute. "Goodbye, senior." Then, Yang Dingtian took Yan Yan's hand and left. After taking a dozen steps, Miju Tuchuo suddenly said, "Hold on." Instantly, Yan Yan's face lit up with joy. Miju Tuchuo said, "Boy, the Go you gave me is very, very interesting. To others, it may be just a toy. But to me, it can save my life." "You're welcome," Yang Dingtian said. "But," Miju Tuchuo said, "I still won't give you the demon core of the Naga royalty." "You can give up, haha." Yang Dingtian didn't show much disappointment on his face. Instead, he nodded and said, "I understand." But I also want to tell you that the go I gave you is just a gift to you. After that, Yang Dingtian didn't say another word. He took Yanyan's hand and left quickly, leaving Miju Tuchuo's cell. The moment he closed the stone door, Yang Dingtian threw a pill at Miju Tuchuo. It was a pill that contained holy water. This pill can't heal you, but it can reduce your pain. After that, Yang Dingtian closed the stone door, took Yanyan's hand, and walked up. Miju Tuchuo caught the pill with a look of surprise in his eyes. After leaving the dungeon and returning to the island, Yanyan leaned her head on Yang Dingtian's shoulder and said softly, "Brother, what should we do?" "I'll use the next 2 days to cultivate. I'll use up the 2 feet of Naga royalty's Shen veins. Even if I can break through half a level, it'll be fine. Then, I'll use my current cultivation to fight Song Yu." Yang Dingtian said. "But, we'll lose." Yanyan said. "Give it your all." Yang Dingtian said. Then, he pulled Yanyan to the shore. He wanted to take a boat back to Wuyan Island to discuss with Elder Wuyan. Yang Dingtian had expected this result, because Elder Wuyan had said very clearly that Miju Tuchuo would never give away the Naga royalty's demon core. For this thing, he had almost sacrificed his life. How could he give it away so easily? As for using Yanyan in exchange for this condition, rather than calling it a condition, it was more like a test to drive a wedge between them. This old man was unhappy that Yanyan was married to Yang Dingtian, so he wanted to destroy the relationship between the two. If Yang Dingtian agreed to the exchange, it would only make Yanyan very sad and disappointed. This old man would never hand over the Naga royalty's demon core. Yang Dingtian and Yanyan kept walking out. Finally, the two found something wrong. Because after walking for more than 10 minutes, they still hadn't reached the beach. This island was very small. 10 minutes walk was enough to cover the entire island. Now, after more than 10 minutes, Yang Dingtian still hadn't walked out. This was obviously not right. The sea was clearly in front of them, but they couldn't reach it. It was as if the two had entered a ghost wall. "Brother, what's going on?" Yanyan asked. "Someone used a spiritual spell on us." Yang Dingtian said, "Everything in front of us has become an illusion. We seem to be walking out, but in fact, we've been walking in circles." "Who did this?" Yanyan asked. "Miju Tuchuo." Yang Dingtian said, "He's the chief alchemist of the Sea of Nether, the first beast speaker, and has unparalleled spiritual power." Ha ha ha. Suddenly, the two heard Miju Tuchuo's laughter. "Kid, you're not stupid. Thank you for giving me this pill. It allowed me to recover some of my energy and let me use my spiritual spell. Although I was in so much pain when I used my spiritual spell, I could only endure the pain in order to make you stay with me. Now, don't even think about leaving. Stay here with me forever." "Miju Tuchuo, how can you do this?" Yanyan was furious. "I don't care." Miju Tuchuo said, "I'm not as unlucky as everyone else." "Oh. You can stay here with me forever." Ha! Yanyan trembled with anger and was about to curse. Yang Dingtian held her little hand and said, "It's okay, Yanyan." "No, we have to get out immediately," Yanyan said, "we have to break out. I don't believe that we can't break out of this small island." Then, Yanyan pulled Yang Dingtian and was about to break out. Yang Dingtian pulled Yanyan and said, "It's useless. If we want to break out, we have to break his spiritual spell." "Yes, unless you can break my spiritual spell." Miju Tuchuo laughed and said, "But it's impossible to break my spiritual spell. Speaking of which, I have to thank you for the holy water pill. Without it, I wouldn't have been able to use my spiritual spell to imprison you. You're shameless. You repay kindness with ingratitude," Yanyan said angrily. "Yes, I, Miju Tuchuo, have always been shameless. I repay kindness with ingratitude." Miju Tuchuo sneered and then burst into laughter. Yang Dingtian said, "Senior, I won't condemn you from a moral point of view. But since we're in this situation, how about we make a bet?" What bet? Miju Tuchuo asked. 1 hour. If I can break your spiritual spell, you'll give me the golden demon core of the Naga royalty. If I can't break it, we'll stay in the dungeon for the rest of our lives. How about that? Yang Dingtian said. Ha ha ha. Miju Tuchuo laughed and said, Are you dreaming? Kid, you want to break my spiritual spell? Are you dreaming? Do you know that my spiritual spell is almost invincible? Do you know that my spiritual power is 1,000 times, or even 10,000 times stronger than yours? Even if I only leave 10% of my spiritual power, it's still hundreds of times stronger than yours. I know. Yang Dingtian said, Your spiritual power is hundreds of times stronger than the two of us combined. My spiritual power is like an ant in front of you. That's why we're imprisoned in this ghost hits wall, and can't leave. If that's the case, you still want to make a bet with me? Miju Tuchuo sneered and said, Are you stupid? Yang Dingtian said, If that's the case, why don't you dare to make a bet? A bet that I'll definitely win is very boring, Miju Tuchuo said. But I think I'll win. Yang Dingtian said, I've never lost a bet with anyone. I've made many bets. Even if I lose once, I'll die without a burial place, but I'm still alive and well. I've always bet with my life, but I've never lost. Even if the odds are 1 in 10,000, I'll still win. Now, you just need to answer me, do you want to bet or not? Okay, I'll bet. Miju Tuchuo said with a smile, If you can break my spiritual spell in an hour, I'll give you the demon core of the Naga royalty. If you can't, the two of you will stay in the dungeon with me forever. It's a deal. Yang Dingtian said. It's a deal. Miju Tuchuo said. Are you ready? Yang Dingtian said. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's whole body suddenly became cold, and everything around him became completely dark. Countless dark energy crazily shrouded. It completely blocked Yang Dingtian's vision and all his senses. Yang Dingtian couldn't use even a little bit of his spiritual power. At this moment, Yang Dingtian couldn't even think. He couldn't even communicate with Dongfang Minmi. And this was only less than 10% of Miju Tuchuo's spiritual power, but it was like a mountain pressing down on him. Yang Dingtian couldn't resist at all. Yan Yan looked at Yang Dingtian worriedly. Although she was full of hope for Yang Dingtian and believed that he could create miracles, this situation was very difficult. However, the current situation was too difficult. Miju Tuchuo's mental power was too strong. This battle was countless times more difficult than Song Yu's battle. It was even like Yang Dingtian, who was at the Xian martial warrior level, directly challenging Dongfang Bingling. It was a battle that he would definitely lose. Yang Dingtian's expression was calm. He said, Senior, it seems that you're ready. I'm going to start breaking your spiritual spell. Hee. Miju Tuchuo sneered. Instantly, Yang Dingtian's vision turned black, and he almost fainted. Taking a deep breath, Yang Dingtian took out his soul ring. He channeled some mystical qi to summon the darkness mystic fire. The darkness mystic fire didn't come out. Of course, it wasn't that Yang Dingtian couldn't summon it. It was that the darkness mystic fire seemed to be angry and unwilling to come out. It didn't want to go in at first. It wanted to live in Yang Dingtian's energy reserve, but it was trapped in the pitch-black soul ring. Yang Dingtian summoned it again. Instantly, the darkness mystic fire came out unwillingly. A black flame ignited above Yang Dingtian's palm. The darkness mystic fire was formed by the fusion of the energy black hole and the million-spirit demonic fire. It was an overlord's energy. Its instinct was to devour energy. All kinds of energy, including spiritual power, of course. After it came out, it immediately sensed the powerful spiritual power around it. Instantly, it jumped a few inches higher excitedly and started devouring crazily. Instantly, a huge crack appeared in Miju Tuchuo's spiritual prison. Miju Tuchuo was shocked. He tried his best to repair it and channeled his spiritual power to repair the spiritual prison. However, it was all in vain. The darkness profound flame devoured and tore crazily. In an instant, it tore the mental prison into pieces. Boom! Yang Dingtian's spiritual power broke free. Instantly, Miju Tuchuo's spiritual prison shattered. Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan felt their bodies lighten, and their vision became clear. Then, they realized that they were still in the middle of the island, and there were footprints everywhere. As expected, they had been walking in circles and couldn't get out of here for the rest of their lives. Yang Dingtian kept the darkness mystic fire in his soul ring and smiled faintly. Senior Miju, you've lost. The golden demon core of the Naga royalty belongs to me. Miju Tuchuo was completely stunned and didn't react for a long time. After a few minutes, Miju Tuchuo said with a trembling voice, "How is this possible? How is this possible? Your spiritual power is only 1% of mine. How can you break my spiritual prison? How is this possible? How is this possible?" Miju Tuchuo wasn't the only one who was shocked. Yan Yan also looked at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. That was because everything was dark just now. The darkness mystic fire was also dark. Therefore, it looked like Yang Dingtian didn't do anything, and Miju Tuchuo's spiritual prison was broken just like that. Senior Miju, you've lost, Yang Dingtian said faintly. I've lost the bet, so the demon core of the Naga royalty belongs to me. Of course, I'll still give you the holy water and the Naga mystic vein. After that, Yang Dingtian walked back to Miju Tuchuo's dungeon to get the demon core of the Naga royalty. Chapter 309. Yang Dingtian brought Yan Yan back to the dungeon. Miju Duda was still looking at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. He said with a trembling voice, "How did you do it? How did you do it?" Yang Dingtian stretched out his hand and said, "Senior, you have to accept your loss. Hand over the Naga royalty's demon core." Miju Duda took a deep breath and said, "Yang Dingtian, before you ask for the golden demon core, I have to tell you a few things." "Please speak," Yang Dingtian said. Yan Yan's beautiful eyes were filled with vigilance. She was afraid that Miju Duda would act shamelessly. "Do you know why I am imprisoned here?" Miju Duda asked. "Because you tried to leave the Sea of Hades and killed more than 10 disciples of the Sea of Hades and stole more than 10 treasures, Yang Dingtian said. "Then do you know why I want to leave the Sea of Hades?" Miju Duda asked. "Because you want to find more treasures," Yang Dingtian said. "No, I originally planned to escape to the Dongli grassland and spend the rest of my life there. Because that is Saint Tantai's territory, the people of the Sea of Hades can't chase me there," Miju Duda said. Yang Dingtian was shocked. He pretended to be Miju Duda and told Yin Tianchong that he wanted to escape and spend the rest of his life there. Miju Duda said, "Because if I don't escape from the Sea of Hades, I will suffer a fate worse than death. Do you know that this Naga royalty's golden demon core is a treasure of heaven and earth? Sect Master Wu Jiong can easily take it from me. Why is this thing still with me?" Yang Dingtian said, "Because he wants more things." "Yes, he wants more things." Miju Duda said, "He wants to know where I got this Naga royalty's demon core, because that place is very likely the Naga's former gathering place. You should know what the Naga's gathering place means, right? Of course, it means countless treasures. There were countless top-notch secret manuals, medicinal pills, and so on. It means that the Naga's treasures are very likely to be there. The value of these treasures far exceeds the Naga royalty and could even change the world," Yang Dingtian said. "That's right, whoever gets the Naga's treasure will be able to rule the world." Miju Tuchuo said, "Sect Master Wuyu wants the treasures of the entire Naga race, so the Naga royalty's demon core is still in my hands." Yang Dingtian nodded and said, "But senior, I've seen Sect Master Wu Jin. His cultivation is completely bottomless. Among all the people I have seen, only Saint Tantai can stand shoulder to shoulder with him. Although your spirit technique is almost invincible, I think that in front of Sect Master Wuyu, your spirit technique shouldn't have any effect. His spirit technique should be stronger than yours. So, even if you don't say it, it shouldn't be difficult for him to get this secret. Of course. Miju Tuchuo said, Sect Master Wu Yu's Yang attribute, Yin attribute, and spirit technique are the best I have ever seen in the world. I'm far from being able to catch up to him. Yang Dingtian suddenly sucked in a breath of cold air. This Sect Master Wu Yu was actually so powerful. Yang Dingtian and Dongfang Bingling's talents were unparalleled in the world, but one was Yang attribute and the other was Yang attribute. Shiman Ningning's spirit technique was unparalleled in the world. But in other aspects, she was quite average. But this Sect Master Wu Yu's Yang attribute, Yin attribute, and spirit technique were the best in the world. This was really amazing. Where did you get the Naga royalty's demon core? This information should be in your mind, so it shouldn't be difficult for Sect Master Wu Yu to get this information with his spirit technique. Why hasn't he gotten it yet? Yang Dingtian asked. Because I've completely destroyed this information in my mind. Now, even I don't know where this Naga royalty's demon core came from. Even if Sect Master Wu Yu's spirit technique is heaven-defying, how could he get this information? Miju Tuchuo said lightly. Yang Dingtian was surprised and full of admiration. This Miju Tuchuo had actually destroyed his own memory. If it weren't for this, I would have died long ago. Once Sect Master Wu Yu got this secret, do you think I would still be alive? Miju Tuchuo said, although he already knows that I've destroyed this memory in my mind, he still has a sliver of hope. He let me live, but imprisoned me here, making me beg for death. Yang Dingtian nodded. This was indeed the case. Miju Tuchuo said, now, I've completely destroyed the secret of the Naga royalty settlement in my mind. Even all the memories before and after that have been destroyed. Therefore, this Naga royalty's demon core has become the most precious thing. It might contain the Naga's soul and memory fragments. If I hand it over to you, what do you think the consequences will be? Yang Dingtian said straightforwardly, the consequences of poking a hole in the sky. That's right, the consequences of poking a hole in the sky. Elder Wu Yu had repeatedly emphasized this point. Therefore, she was unwilling to say this method before. Perhaps she would immediately regret it after saying it. Can you be more specific? Miju Tuchuo asked. More specific. You'll be torn into pieces. Even if I successfully bring Yen Yen out of the Sea of Hades, I'll be killed by Sect Master Wu Yu. Yen Yen will also be killed. Cloud Sky City will be directly destroyed, Yang Dingtian said. That's right, that's it. Miju Tuchuo said, although this Naga royalty's demon core is still in my hands, it doesn't actually belong to me anymore. It belongs to the Sea of Hades and Sect Master Wu Yu. If you take this demon core from me, it's equivalent to taking away Wu Yu's most precious treasure. As soon as he said this, Yin Yan's expression changed completely. Previously, she wanted to scold Miju Tuchuo for being shameless. Now, she didn't even say a word. In her heart, she didn't even want Yang Dingtian to take this demon core. Moreover, even if you get this Naga royalty's demon core, you won't be able to open it. Miju Tuchuo said, no matter what weapon you use, even mystic fire, you won't be able to open this demon core. You won't be able to absorb the powerful mystic chi energy from it. So? Yang Dingtian said. So, I advise you to think of another way. Miju Tuchuo said, or, I'll directly give this demon core to Sect Master Wu Yu first and ask him to let you go. Do you think that's possible? Yang Dingtian said. Miju Tuchuo also shook his head. He had made it very clear before. In fact, this Naga royalty's demon core was only with Miju Tuchuo. Its real owner was Sect Master Wu Yu. Wanting to use this demon core to exchange for the freedom of Yang Dingtian and Yen Yen was completely a fool's dream. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, Senior, about how often does Sect Master Wu Yu come to see you? Half a year. Miju Tuchuo said. Then how long will it be before he comes to see you again? Yang Dingtian asked. About 3 or 4 days, Miju Tuchuo said. Then it's like this. Yang Dingtian said, "Give this Naga royalty's demon core to me. It's only been with me for a day. At this time tomorrow, I'll return it to you. Within this day, whether or not I can successfully absorb the mystic chi energy inside, I'll return this demon core on time, and I won't damage it in any way." "That's impossible," Miju Tuchuo said, "even if it's in your hands, it's useless." "Then don't worry about it. Even if I take it away and play with it for a day, it's my business. In short, at this time tomorrow, I'll return this demon core to you intact," Yang Dingtian said. "Can't I do that? You don't have to worry about me breaking the contract at all. As long as I don't return it on time, you just have to inform Wu Yu, and I guarantee that I'll die without a burial place." Miju Tuchuo thought for a moment, then nodded and said, "That's fine, but there's still one problem. This demon core has been marked with a special energy mark by Wu Yu. If you bring it back to Wuyan Island, you'll be discovered as soon as you reach the sea. At that time, you'll also die without a burial place. You don't have to worry about that. I have a way," Yang Dingtian said. "I can completely hide the energy mark on this demon core." "That's impossible," Miju Tuchuo said. "No one can erase the mark left by Sect Master Wu Yu. Even I can't do it, let alone you." "Of course I can do it. Otherwise, if you give it a special energy mark now, you won't be able to sense it immediately after you hand it over to me," Yang Dingtian said. After saying that, Yang Dingtian stretched out his hand. Miju Tuchuo fiercely shook his teeth, then took out a golden demon core from his bosom. Suddenly, the dungeon brightened up. This demon core was like the sun, blooming with golden light. It was dazzling, noble, and domineering. Just the light that was blooming was enough to make people have the urge to worship it. Inside the demon core, countless rays of light were circulating. It was mysterious and deep, as if there was a completely independent world inside. This was the Naga demon core, the most mysterious and most noble thing in the world. Compared to Yang Dingtian's purple Naga Xian veins, it was more than 10 times more precious. After Yang Dingtian took the demon core, he did not look at it carefully and directly put it into his bosom. Of course, it looked like he put it into his bosom, but in fact, he put it into his space ring. "Senior, can you still sense the energy mark on the demon core now?" Yang Dingtian asked. Miju Tuchuo widened his eyes in shock. The energy mark he left behind had really disappeared without a trace. How did this young man do it? It was too shocking. This young man was obviously only a martial arts grandmaster, but not only did he break his mental prison, but he also completely erased the energy mark he left behind. How did he do it? "Your ability is really unpredictable," Miju Tuchuo said in a trembling voice. Yang Dingtian bowed and said, "Then we'll take our leave first. At this time tomorrow, I'll come back on time to return the demon core." Miju Tuchuo sighed and said, "Okay, I'll give you 1 day. I really hope you can successfully devour the energy inside. Goodbye, senior. Take care." Yang Dingtian left the dungeon with Yan Yan, left the island, and got on the boat to row toward Wuyan Island. After more than an hour, Wuyan Island was in sight. Yang Dingtian let out a long sigh of relief. Chapter 310. On the island, Elder Wuyan was waiting anxiously, her expression full of worry and uneasiness. After Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan arrived on Wuyan Island, Elder Wuyan immediately asked in a low voice, "Did you get it?" Yang Dingtian nodded. Suddenly, Elder Wuyan was stunned. To be honest, she really didn't expect that Yang Dingtian could really get the golden demon core of the Naga royalty. Next, Yang Dingtian only had 1 day to absorb the powerful Xian Qi energy in the Naga royalty demon core. After returning to Wuyan Island, Yang Dingtian directly went into the room. Yan Yan also wanted to go in, but was stopped by Elder Wuyan. "Yan Yan, you wait in the room outside. I'll keep watch in the yard. Don't disturb him." So, only Yang Dingtian was in the room. At this time, the water in the jade bucket was still there. There was more than a pound of holy water in it. It was originally for Yan Yan, but she didn't use it. Now, it was time for Yang Dingtian to use. Because this time, the Xian Qi energy in the Golden Demon Core was extremely shocking. It was completely unknown what kind of damage it would bring to Yang Dingtian, but in short, it would be very terrible. Yang Dingtian, naked, sat cross-legged in the diluted holy water. First, he took a deep breath, and then slowly closed his eyes. Wait, it might be really painful. He closed his eyes for a few minutes to calm his mind and go through the whole plan in his mind. Yang Dingtian opened his eyes and took out the golden demon core of the Naga royalty from the space ring. Suddenly, the water in the entire jade barrel turned golden. It was the same color as gold. Even Yang Dingtian's body turned into a beautiful golden color. This golden demon core was completely solid to the extreme. Originally, the Naga demon core was already stronger than the purple Naga Shen veins, let alone the golden demon core of the Naga royalty. Therefore, the sturdiness of the purple Naga's profound veins was on a completely different level. Therefore, although the Netherworld Sea coveted the energy and soul inside this demon core, it was unable to open it and obtain the profound energy and soul memories inside. If Yang Dingtian relied on the million-spirit demonic flame, he wouldn't be able to open the demonic core. Even if he condensed the mystic flame to the maximum, he still wouldn't be able to break open the demonic core. This was because the Naga was the highest being in this world and had the status of a demigod. However, at this moment, Yang Dingtian not only wanted to devour the energy inside, but he also wanted the entire demon core intact. This was simply too difficult. It was completely impossible. However, the reason why Yang Dingtian dared to agree to Mijududa's request was because he had the Darkness Profound Flame, a Darkness Profound Flame that could devour all kinds of energy. An ordinary mystic flame might not be comparable to the Naga royalty, but the energy black hole should be. Perhaps the energy black hole was already the top energy substance in this world. Yang Dingtian only needed to summon the Darkness Profound Flame and it would immediately devour the energy inside the demon core crazily. It would directly create an invisible hole in the demon core. At that time, the profound energy would continuously gush out from this hole and seep into the sacred water. Yang Dingtian circulated the Qi refinement formula to refine and devour the profound energy inside into his own sea of vital energy. Huff! Yang Dingtian summoned the Darkness Profound Flame from the Soul Ring. At this moment, the Darkness Profound Flame was still very weak. It couldn't be left outside for too long or its energy would dissipate. You are the King of Darkness, the Overlord of the Mystic Flame. Don't disappoint me. Yang Dingtian thought to himself. Then, he raised the golden demon core in his hand and approached the Darkness Profound Flame. Hiss! The Darkness Profound Flame sensed an extremely pure and powerful energy. It suddenly jumped up as though it was extremely excited. Without waiting for Yang Dingtian's control, the Darkness Profound Flame suddenly condensed and became as sharp as a needle. It aimed at the golden demon core and pierced into it. As long as it pierced into the golden demon core, there would be a hole. At that time, the profound energy would continuously gush out. Although this Darkness Profound Flame was still very young, when it was condensed to the extreme, this black thorn that was almost invisible to the naked eye completely gave off a feeling of destroying and piercing through everything. Even if it was the supreme being of the world, the golden demon core of the Naga royal tribe. Seeing the Darkness Profound Flame piercing into the golden demon core, Yang Dingtian's heart skipped a beat. He held his breath and waited for the profound energy to surge out. But the result disappointed Yang Dingtian. After the Darkness Profound Flame pierced into the golden demon core, it didn't pierce into it directly. Instead, it was reflected back. The extremely powerful Darkness Profound Flame that could devour everything was actually helpless against the demon core of the Naga royalty. The dark energy that pierced into the demon core was actually reflected back. Yang Dingtian didn't believe in heresy. He controlled the Darkness Profound Flame personally and carefully mixed the million-spirit demon fire and the Darkness Profound Flame together. Then, he pierced it into the golden demon core. Phew! There was still no effect. It was reflected back by the golden outer shell of the demon core. Instantly, Yang Dingtian felt a chill in his heart. The outer shell of the demon core was too powerful. Even the darkness profound flame was helpless against it. In this world, was there anything that could open it? Moreover, Yang Dingtian's trump card was the darkness profound flame. But now that the trump card had lost its effect, Yang Dingtian was really at his wit's end. It seemed that he really couldn't take a shortcut this time. He really had to use a 6-star martial grandmaster to fight with Song Yu. No wonder Extermination Dida said that even if he took the golden demon core, it was useless. Moreover, if it could be opened, Extermination Dida would have opened it himself. Yang Dingtian summoned the darkness profound flame back into the soul ring. After staying outside for a while, the darkness profound flame was already a little weak. Yang Dingtian let out a long sigh. Then, he laid in the jade bucket, held the golden demon core in his hand and stared at it helplessly. Perhaps, this treasure of heaven and earth could only be held in his hand and admired for a day? At this moment, Yan Yan, who was outside, was really anxious. Hearing that there was no movement in the room, she couldn't help but ask, "Husband, can I come in?" "Come in," Yang Dingtian said. Yan Yan walked in and looked at Yang Dingtian. She smiled sweetly and said, "Brother, this thing is too beautiful. You've been playing with it. Have you not started to devour its energy?" Yang Dingtian said, "I've already tried twice. I can't pierce through its outer shell and can't devour its energy." Yan Yan said, "Don't be anxious. There must be other ways. Your profound flame is so powerful." Yang Dingtian shook his head and said, "I've tried combining the million spirit demon fire and the darkness profound flame, but it still didn't work." Yan Yan's beautiful eyes reddened. She smiled sweetly and said, "Then let's think of another way. Let's go find Granny to think of a way. If there's really no other way, we husband and wife will fight it out with that gigolo Song Yu." Yang Dingtian smiled gently at Yan Yan and opened his arms. Yan Yan pounced over like a little bird and bent down to hug Yang Dingtian. At this moment, Yang Dingtian suddenly felt the golden demon core in his hand jump and heat up. Yang Dingtian was also shocked. He couldn't help but look at the golden demon core in his hand. There was no reaction. Could it be that he was hallucinating? Yang Dingtian stared at the golden demon core and finally realized that it was indeed moving. The countless meridians and starlight inside seemed to be gently flashing, gradually brightening, and then gradually dimming. The amplitude was so weak that it was almost negligible. What was going on? This demon core didn't change at all. Why was it moving now? What was happening now? Yan Yan pounced over to hug Yang Dingtian. Could it be that this demon core's change was related to Yan Yan? Yang Dingtian said to Yan Yan, "Darling, take a few steps back and try." Yan Yan didn't understand, but she followed Yang Dingtian's instructions and took a few steps back. Sure enough, the demon core's movement became weaker and weaker until it completely disappeared. "Darling, come over here again," Yang Dingtian said. Yan Yan walked over. Sure enough, the demon core moved again, although it was still very weak. Was this demon core's movement really related to Yan Yan? This was too strange, and Yang Dingtian couldn't figure it out. No matter what, Yan Yan had nothing to do with the Naga clan. After all, she was not Ning Ning. Then, Yang Dingtian suddenly thought of something. Yan Yan had nothing to do with the Naga clan before, but now it was because Yan Yan's Xian veins had been transformed by the Naga Xian veins. At this time, her Xian veins were brand new and full of Naga clan genes. Perhaps, this was the reason. With this thought, Yang Dingtian's mind suddenly lit up. Perhaps, he had a way. He had a way to open the demon core's shell defense. In the face of such a powerful and supreme Naga clan, he couldn't force it. He could only comply. "Darling, I suddenly thought of a way," Yang Dingtian said in surprise. Yan Yan's beautiful eyes lit up and said, "Then I'll wait for you outside?" Yang Dingtian nodded. Yan Yan backed out of the room and then helped Yang Dingtian close the door. Yang Dingtian took out a foot of purple Naga Xian veins from his spatial ring. Huff. Then, he summoned the million-spirit demon fire. Condense, condense, condense. The million-spirit demon fire was condensed to the extreme and fiercely burrowed into the foot of purple Naga Xian veins. Suddenly, the Xian veins lit up and emitted a dazzling purple light, which contrasted with the golden demon core's light. It was dazzling and enchanting. Brighter and brighter, brighter and brighter. The Naga Xian veins that were being burned by the Xian fire were shining to the extreme. Boom! Suddenly, the Xian veins turned into countless purple photons that filled the entire jade barrel and enveloped Yang Dingtian's body. Yang Dingtian's Xian fire condensed countless Naga Xian veins photons into the flame, and the red Xian fire immediately turned into a gorgeous purple. Yang Dingtian's palm wrapped around the golden demon core, and the Xian fire that was filled with Naga Xian veins photons suddenly wrapped tightly around the golden demon core. Then, countless Naga Xian veins photons started to spin rapidly. Whoosh 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 whoosh, then, countless photons burrowed into the golden demon core with all their might. The golden demon core's shell, which was originally extremely sturdy and could not be penetrated by the darkness profound fire, was now completely open, allowing countless Naga Xian veins photons to enter. In a short few seconds, all the purple photons of Naga Xian veins mixed with Yang Dingtian's Xian fire and completely disappeared into the golden Naga royalty demon core. That's right, it was incomparably sturdy and even the darkness profound fire could not penetrate it. However, it was willing to absorb and release its own kind. Although the purple Naga clan's Xian veins were of a lower grade, they were still of the same kind. Therefore, the golden Naga demon core and the purple Xian veins were completely released. After these purple Xian veins photons had all surged into the golden demon core, it was quiet for a few seconds. Suddenly, a ray of golden light shot out. Then, countless rays of golden light shot out from the demon core. It was like a real sun, blooming with dazzling light. Most of this golden light directly pierced into Yang Dingtian's body. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian felt an extremely domineering, extremely pure, and extremely powerful Xian Qi energy. It almost made Yang Dingtian unable to breathe in an instant. PFFF. Caught off guard, Yang Dingtian suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. All the Xian veins in his body were shattered. The energy in this golden demon core was simply too overbearing. Furthermore, Yang Dingtian could clearly feel that it contained the energy of the purple Naga Xian veins. However, after entering the demon core, the purple Xian veins photons were completely swallowed and fused with the golden energy. Then, they burst out and drilled into Yang Dingtian's body. Yang Dingtian endured the incomparable pain and hurriedly put this golden demon core that was blooming with light into the holy water. Then, he closed his eyes and released all the Xian veins in his body, desperately swallowing this incomparably powerful Xian Qi energy. He succeeded. Countless domineering Xian Qi, through the holy water, endlessly poured into Yang Dingtian's body. He succeeded. Chapter 311. If there was no holy water, Yang Dingtian would definitely not be able to withstand the profound energy surging out from the golden demon core. This profound energy was simply too powerful and overbearing. However, it was completely different when the demon core was placed in the holy water. This incomparably powerful profound energy directly seeped into the holy water, and then into Yang Dingtian's profound veins. The impact was immediately reduced by a lot. However, it was still very painful because the profound energy that poured in was simply too powerful, too much. It felt as if Yang Dingtian's profound veins were about to explode. Yang Dingtian closed his eyes and circulated the Qi refinement art, frantically devouring this incomparably powerful profound energy. What surprised Yang Dingtian was that this profound energy was not completely pure. However, it did not seem to have any attributes, whether it was yin or yang. Of course, it was not fire or ice, etc. This profound energy carried a very, very peculiar aura. At least, this profound energy was golden in color. Whether Yang Dingtian used the profound fire to refine it, or the yin-yang qi transformation art, he was unable to make this profound energy become completely pure. However, this profound energy could completely enter the qi sea and be used to raise his cultivation. Merely an hour later, a golden light flashed in front of Yang Dingtian's eyes. Then, all of his consciousness and everything turned into nothingness. He was very familiar with this feeling because he was about to break through and level up. But this time, it was different from before, when there was nothing but emptiness. When he was in the void, it was as if something different, and mysterious was crazily pouring into Yang Dingtian's mind. Yang Dingtian wanted to search, wanted to capture an image, but it disappeared without a trace. Furthermore, when he entered the void, Yang Dingtian could not control his thoughts at all, as if this brain did not belong to him. After a short period of nothingness, this mysterious image that poured into Yang Dingtian's mind immediately stopped. And Yang Dingtian's qi sea was currently empty. However, the slightly strange thing was that Yang Dingtian felt that the inner wall of his qi sea was actually golden. That's right, it was actually golden. It was really too strange. The profound qi that was pouring in was golden, and the inner wall of the qi sea was actually golden as well. However, from this, Yang Dingtian finally confirmed that although the sea of qi was in the lower abdomen, it was a virtual space. Furthermore, the qi sea was completely formed from refined profound energy. It was no wonder that ordinary battle xian qi could be filled to the brim within 4 to 6 hours after entering the sea of qi. As for the refined xian qi, it would be compressed by 100 times after entering the sea of qi. When the cultivation xian qi filled the entire qi sea, it immediately exploded. At this time, the cultivation xian qi inside did not disappear. Instead, it directly merged with the qi sea and became a part of the expanded qi sea. Moreover, both combat and cultivation xian qi were in the sea of qi. However, the two spaces were completely independent and did not interfere with each other. Even if the battle profound energy filled the energy sea, it would not prevent the cultivation profound energy from entering, and vice versa. After breaking through and leveling up, Yang Dingtian was already a 7-star martial ancestor. After that, the golden profound energy continued to crazily surge into Yang Dingtian's Xian meridians before gathering and entering the sea of qi. After all the profound energy entered the sea of qi, it was directly compressed by a few hundred times and gradually filled the sea of qi. Yang Dingtian also realized that as his cultivation level increased, the degree of compression of the profound energy that entered the sea of qi increased. At the beginning, the cultivation profound energy that entered the sea of qi was only compressed by a few dozen times. Later on, it was compressed by a few hundred times. In other words, as one's cultivation level increased, the amount of profound energy required to break through the sea of qi would increase exponentially. The firmness of the sea of qi would also increase greatly. Of course, the cultivation time required to break through one level was even longer. Previously, it was said that even a martial artist with 8th grade Xian meridians would need about 2 years to break through from a 6-star martial ancestor to a 7-star martial ancestor. However, Yang Dingtian had the 9 yang meridians, the yin-yang qi transformation technique, and the million spirit demon fire. He only needed 2 to 3 months and his cultivation speed was more than 10 times that of others. On the other hand, absorbing the profound energy from the Naga royalty demon core only took about an hour. Of course, this was because Yang Dingtian was already a mid-grade 6-star martial ancestor. In this hour, it was equivalent to breaking through half a level. The process of breaking through from a 7-star martial ancestor to an 8-star martial ancestor had undoubtedly slowed down. The energy from the Naga royalty demon core was still incomparably powerful, but the amount of profound energy required to break through from a 7-star martial ancestor to an 8-star martial ancestor was simply too much. Compared to breaking through from a 6-star martial ancestor to a 7-star martial ancestor, it was a completely multiplied increase. Furthermore, as Yang Dingtian refined the profound energy into his sea of qi, he also felt his own body and was surprised to find that when countless profound energy entered the sea of qi through the Xian meridians, there were many golden purple photons that remained at the Xian meridians and then seeped into the Xian meridians. These golden Xian meridians were mixed with the purple Naga royalty and were actually transforming his Xian meridians. However, he had the 9 Yang meridians and there was almost no room for transformation. Just like this, countless profound energy entered his Xian meridians and after being compressed by a few hundred times, flowed into his sea of qi. His empty sea of qi rose little by little. 2 hours passed. 4 hours passed. 4 hours later. Finally, the golden yellow profound energy once again filled Yang Dingtian's sea of qi. Yang Dingtian's sea of qi began to expand and expand. Previously, because the sea of qi was colorless, Yang Dingtian could only feel it expanding, but he couldn't see it expanding. This time, he could see it clearly. The golden yellow sea of qi began to tremble, as if it was a bomb that was about to explode. Boom, with a flash of golden light, everything entered nothingness. Yang Dingtian's body, his mind, and his spirit had completely entered nothingness. He broke through again and became an 8-star martial ancestor. Similarly, at this time, countless information, mysterious and clear, crazily poured into Yang Dingtian's mind. However, Yang Dingtian was still completely unable to capture a single image. He could only helplessly watch as the information crazily poured into his mind. The breakthrough was over. Everything around him gradually returned to normal and Yang Dingtian gradually regained consciousness. The color of the sea of qi had obviously become more golden yellow, and it was empty again. Then, countless golden yellow profound energy poured into the profound veins again. After being compressed by hundreds of times, it flowed into the sea of qi again. 2 hours. 4 hours. 6 hours. 8 hours. 8 hours later, the golden yellow profound energy once again filled Yang Dingtian's sea of qi. Yang Dingtian's sea of qi expanded again, it expanded to the extreme. Boom, with a flash of golden light, everything entered nothingness again. Yang Dingtian successfully broke through again and became a 9-star martial ancestor. In the short period of nothingness, countless information still crazily poured into Yang Dingtian's mind. Perhaps, this was the sole memory of the Naga royalty. Who knew? At this time, Yang Dingtian was already a 9-star martial ancestor. 16 hours had passed since he started cultivating, which was 16 hours in total. He had promised Miju Tuchuo that he would only borrow it for 1 day. There were only 8 hours left. Just now, Yang Dingtian had spent 8 hours to break through to the 9-star level. The time needed to break through to the martial venerable level from the 9-star martial ancestor level was probably double. Yang Dingtian only had 8 hours left. It was obviously impossible for him to break through to the martial venerable level. Of course, Yang Dingtian could break the contract and return the golden demon core to Miju Tuchuo after he had completely devoured the profound energy in it. However, a man could not live without integrity. Moreover, Miju Tuchuo had lent him the demon core, which was already a great kindness. How could he break the contract again? In the face of an untrustworthy person, it was pedantic and stupid to pay attention to credibility. However, in the face of a person who was indebted to him, it was shameless to go against credibility. Therefore, Yang Dingtian had to change his method. Otherwise, he would not be able to break through to the martial venerable level within 8 hours. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath. There was only one way, which was to shorten the time for profound energy to enter the sea of qi and reduce the loss of profound energy in the process of passing through the profound veins. The method was to swallow the entire Naga royalty's demon core into his stomach and use profound energy to force it into his lower abdomen, where it was closest to the sea of qi. That way, shortening the distance was nothing. The most important thing was to reduce the loss of profound energy in the circulation of profound veins throughout the body. However, this was extremely dangerous. Such powerful profound energy would first flow through the entire body's profound veins and then enter the sea of qi. There would be a huge buffer. Now, Yang Dingtian wanted to swallow it directly into his stomach and release profound energy from the side of the sea of qi. He wanted to swallow it directly into the sea of qi. This was too terrifying. This was using less than 10% of the profound veins to swallow the same amount of profound energy as before. There was no need to talk about the extreme pain. It was very likely that part of the profound veins would explode and even Yang Dingtian's sea of qi would shatter. However, there were two reasons why Yang Dingtian dared to take such a risk. One of the reasons was that he was in the holy water. Secondly, all the profound veins in his body had been transformed by the Naga royalty's purple profound veins. Even if it couldn't upgrade the grade of his profound veins, it could at least make them tougher. Gritting his teeth, Yang Dingtian immediately made a decision. Fight it out. Yang Dingtian took out a cup of holy water from his spatial ring and placed the demon core in it. Then, he swallowed the demon core with the holy water. Then, he used profound energy to quickly force the demon core to the vicinity of his lower abdomen. The moment the demon core entered his stomach, Yang Dingtian almost cried out in pain. It was really painful to the extreme. It was completely indescribable. It was as if a bomb had directly exploded in his stomach. After the extreme pain, Yang Dingtian felt that his stomach was completely numb, as if the entire stomach didn't belong to him at all. That kind of pain directly made Yang Dingtian faint. Pfft! A mouthful of blood suddenly spurted out. Then, the meridians in Yang Dingtian's entire body shattered inch by inch at a speed that could be seen with the naked eye. Countless amounts of blood surged out from the countless cracks. That small portion of his profound veins still couldn't withstand such powerful energy and directly shattered inch by inch. At this time, Yang Dingtian had become incomparably shocking. Countless cracks appeared all over his body, making him look like a ghost. Even though he knew that the consequences would be severe, he didn't expect it to be so terrifying. Yang Dingtian didn't care. He frantically operated the qi refining art, guiding the incomparably powerful profound energy into his qi sea. At this time, even under extreme pain, Yang Dingtian still had to maintain his rationality and use the shortest time to guide the profound energy into his qi sea. Otherwise, the consequences would definitely be Yang Dingtian's body and bones shattering. Finally, after the profound energy entered his qi sea, only then did the powerful energy of the demon core stop rampaging through Yang Dingtian's body. Even though it was still painful as if countless red-hot knives were stirring in his stomach, it was much better than before. The pain just now directly made Yang Dingtian's eye sockets crack. Next, under the effect of the holy water, Yang Dingtian's cracked body finally gradually healed and recovered. Then, everything returned to normal. In the process that was like a knife twisting, countless powerful golden profound energy crazily poured into Yang Dingtian's qi sea. 2 hours. 4 hours. 3.5 hours. Yang Dingtian's qi sea was once again filled with golden profound energy. The qi sea began to expand, boom. A golden light burst out. Everything entered nothingness. Countless mysterious information once again crazily poured into Yang Dingtian's mind. And the strange thing was that the time of nothingness this time was exceptionally long. In the past, the time of nothingness after breaking through was at most 4 or 5 seconds. This time, it was a full few minutes. It was as if endless information crazily poured into Yang Dingtian's mind, causing that moment, Yang Dingtian's spirit and mind seemed to be about to turn into ashes. A few minutes later, the nothingness stopped. Everything around him began to gradually recover. And Yang Dingtian had officially broken through to Martial Venerable. In the almost hellish pain, Yang Dingtian finally succeeded in breaking through to Martial Venerable within the allotted time. Chapter 312. He had finally broken through to revered martial artist. He had finally broken through to revered martial artist. The blood in Yang Dingtian's body was trembling, and his heart was filled with excitement. It had been almost 3 years since he came to this world. It had been 1.5 years since he started practicing martial arts. He had broken through to revered martial artist. After breaking through to revered martial artist, he had officially become an absolute expert in this world. He had become the peak of this world's youth experts. Du Fengwu, revered martial artist. Qin Huayu, revered martial artist. Joyless Palace's young Lord Gudu Wuhuan, Yinyang School's Ling Ao Han, Black Sky Sect's Zhu Hongxue, and the mysterious Yen Biqin. Cloud Sky City's Shiman Zhu and Shiman Lai were all revered martial artists. Netherworld Sea's Song Yu and many other unknown Netherworld Sea disciples were all revered martial artists. All the young experts in this world were at revered martial artists. Except for the heaven-defying Dongfang Bingling, who had stepped into the Grandmaster realm at the age of 21, and became the true peak expert in this world. Only by breaking through to revered martial artist would he have a chance in the City Lord's martial contest. Only by breaking through to revered martial artist would he be able to break through Song Yu's defense and bring Yan out of Netherworld Sea. However, after breaking through to revered martial artist, Yang Dingtian was not only excited, he also felt guilty. That's right, it was guilt. He had broken through to revered martial artist mostly because of luck. He had taken countless shortcuts. Although he had narrowly escaped death every time, he could tell himself that even the shortcuts were not easy to come by. However, it was hard to lie to himself. After breaking through to revered martial artist, there was still an hour before he had to return the demon core. Now, Yang Dingtian had a choice, which was to continue devouring the energy in the demon core until the mystic chi energy was completely devoured. The second choice was to stop immediately and return the golden demon core now. The timing was just right. Taking a deep breath, Yang Dingtian spat out the golden demon core. The demon core was still emitting a golden light, and mystic chi energy was shooting out. Come out. Yang Dingtian opened his palm. Suddenly, a purple flame rushed out from the demon core. This was the combination of the profound flame and the purple Naga's profound veins, a ball of purple light. Yang Dingtian clenched his hand, and the purple mist suddenly condensed into the size of a small pearl. There was less than 1/10 of its original size left. The rest had entered Yang Dingtian's body. At this point, even if Yang Dingtian continued to devour, he would probably only be able to break through a quarter of his level. This was because once the Naga's Xian meridians were exhausted, the demon nucleus would stop releasing Xian qi. There was still some time left. Yang Dingtian fiercely sucked this ball of light mixed with the purple Naga's Xian veins into his Xian veins. Immediately, this energy flowed along Yang Dingtian's profound veins, transforming and strengthening every inch of Yang Dingtian's profound veins. This process was also somewhat painful, but it was nothing compared to the previous one. After a few minutes, the Naga's Xian meridians had completely merged into Yang Dingtian's Xian meridians. Of course, this was not enough. In the future, Yang Dingtian still needed to strengthen his Xian meridians. This was because Yang Dingtian had chosen to devour Xian qi near his Sea of Qi to raise his Sea of Qi. This way, countless Xian qi would not be able to pass through his Xian meridians, causing his Sea of Qi to rise while his Xian meridians did not. This way, his Xian meridians and Sea of Qi would not be at the same level. This result was very, very fatal. The direct result was that when he wanted to release an attack in the future, the Xian meridians would be torn apart when the battle Xian qi was released from his Sea of Qi into his Xian meridians. At this point, there was no need to talk about fighting. It was a kind of suicide. Of course, because Yang Dingtian's Xian meridians were special and had been transformed by the purple Naga's Xian meridians, it would not be so serious. However, the mismatch between the Sea of Qi and Xian meridians was ultimately fatal. At this moment, Yang Dingtian's Sea of Qi was at the martial ancestor level. However, his Xian meridians were only at the mid-level of a 9-star martial ancestor. This mid-level was because he had used the purple Naga's Xian meridians to transform his Xian meridians. As for the Naga royalty's demon core in his hand, after Naga's Xian meridians separated, it stopped releasing Xian qi and became the same golden demon core as before. It became quiet and mysterious. It was no longer as bright as the sun. How much Xian qi was left in it? Yang Dingtian did not know and did not want to know. Taking a deep breath, he put the golden demon core into his spatial ring. Then, Yang Dingtian got up from the bathtub, wiped his body, put on his clothes, and pushed the door open. "Brother, did you succeed?" Yan Yan exclaimed. Yang Dingtian nodded. "You really succeeded?" Yan Yan said in disbelief. Then, she pounced over and hugged Yang Dingtian tightly. At this moment, her beautiful big eyes were bloodshot. "Silly girl, you haven't slept all this time?" Yang Dingtian asked. "Who can sleep?" Yan Yan said. Speaking of which, Yan Yan had not slept for more than 30 hours. However, she still did not feel sleepy. Her face was still full of excitement. Elder Wu Yan did not sleep either. He grabbed Yang Dingtian's wrist and inserted Xian Qi to test Yang Dingtian's cultivation. Suddenly, a shocked expression appeared on her face. "You really broke through to martial honor? You really broke through to martial honor? This is unbelievable." Then, Elder Wu Yan's expression changed. "What's going on? Most of your Xian meridians are not at martial honor level, but your sea of energy has broken through to martial honor level. Do you know how serious the consequences are?" Elder Wu Yan was indeed powerful. He even found out about this. "Grandma, because I had to return this demon core on time, I had no choice but to do this," Yang Dingtian said. "But don't worry, after returning the demon core, I will immediately come back and cut off a section of Naga's purple Xian meridians to improve the grade of my Xian meridians." Yan Yan didn't quite understand, but Elder Wu Yan completely understood. He knew that Yang Dingtian had directly swallowed the Naga King's demon core into his stomach, which was the most direct way to devour energy. She knew how painful it would be, how dangerous it would be. You are really crazy. Do you know how terrible the consequences are?" Elder Wu Yan whispered. She was afraid that Yan Yan would be worried, so she did not say it clearly. "I'm sorry, Grandma. I will be careful in the future," Yang Dingtian said. Then, he said to Yan Yan, "Let's go. We will return this demon core to the dungeon." "Okay." Yan Yan held Yang Dingtian's hand, walked to the edge of Wuyan Island, and jumped into the boat. Last time, in order to enjoy the romantic time with Yan Yan on the sea, Yang Dingtian slowly rowed the boat to the island. It took him half an hour. This time, Yang Dingtian used all his strength to row the boat quickly. In order to save time, when the boat was a few thousand meters away from the island, Yang Dingtian directly carried Yan Yan and flew directly to the island with the ethereal wings. "Husband, these wings are so beautiful," Yan Yan exclaimed. "I will definitely find you one in the future," Yang Dingtian said. Yan Yan pouted and kissed Yang Dingtian's face. Yang Dingtian directly landed at the entrance of the dungeon and quickly pulled Yan Yan to the cell a few hundred meters underground. Pushing open the thick stone door, they saw Miju Tuchuo playing chess alone. After seeing Yang Dingtian, Miju Tuchuo was slightly surprised and said, "There is still a quarter of an hour before the appointed time. You actually came early. You really couldn't pierce the shell of the golden demon core and swallow the energy inside. You really failed." In Miju Tuchuo's opinion, Yang Dingtian would only return the demon core on time if he failed. Yang Dingtian took out the golden demon core from the space ring and offered it with both hands. "Senior, thank you for lending me the golden Naga demon core." Yang Dingtian officially returns it to its rightful owner. Miju Tuchuo took the demon core and said, "It's normal that you failed. Even I couldn't open it and obtain the energy and soul memories inside, let alone you. Come, play a few games with me. When the time comes, I will plead with Sect Master Wu Jin for you." Yang Dingtian said, "Thank you, Senior, but I have succeeded." "Succeeded?" Miju Tuchuo said in a sharp voice, "You successfully opened the shell of the demon core and swallowed the energy inside?" Yang Dingtian nodded. "Impossible," Miju Tuchuo said in a sharp voice. Then, he took out the golden Naga royalty demon core. He found that it was still intact, beautiful, and mysterious. There were no traces of tampering at all. "Impossible, you can't do it." Miju Tuchuo said in a trembling voice, "You've already broken through to Martial Venerable?" Yang Dingtian nodded. "I don't believe it." "Prove it to me," Miju Tuchuo said. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and a burst of Xian Qi suddenly gushed out. Whoosh! Suddenly, two transparent wings stretched out from his back. This was not the Void Spirit wings, nor was it a flying Xian skill. It was a pair of wings condensed from Xian Qi. Only martial honorables were able to form wings. Heavens! You're not human. Miju Tuchuo muttered to himself, "Even I can't do it." "How did you do it?" Yang Dingtian hesitated for a moment and was about to tell him the method. However, before he could say it, Miju Tuchuo stopped him. "All right, you don't have to tell me. Don't tell me anything. Otherwise, it will only benefit that demon from the Netherworld Sea. You've succeeded. That's your good fortune." Miju Tuchuo sighed and put the golden demon core back into his pocket. Then, he closed his eyes and said, "Wait for me for a moment. I have to completely destroy this memory of borrowing your demon core. Otherwise, you'll suffer. Sect Master Wu Yu will always come to search for the memory in my mind. I'll keep the memory from yesterday when you failed to borrow the demon core and left with your tails between your legs." Then, Miju Tuchuo's right hand hovered above his head. A red light sword condensed at the tip of his finger. It condensed, and finally condensed into an extremely thin light needle. Hiss! Afterwards, the red needle of light fiercely pierced his brain. Miju Tuchuo's body trembled violently. His entire face twisted in pain. Then, he suddenly fell to the ground. His entire body was trembling in extreme pain. Yanyan's tears immediately gushed out. Yang Dingtian bowed deeply and said respectfully, "Yang Dingtian, thank you for your kindness, senior. One day, if I'm strong enough, I'll definitely restore your freedom." Yang Dingtian made a promise in his heart, even though Miju Tuchuo couldn't hear it. Previously, he heard that Miju Tuchuo had erased part of his brain's memory. He originally thought it was just a kind of spiritual technique, like deleting information from a computer's hard drive. He didn't expect that he would directly use an energy needle to destroy that part of his brain, directly destroying his body in the most direct way. It was like directly destroying some sectors of a hard drive. Only in this way could the data be prevented from being recovered by experts. No wonder Sect Master Wu Yu couldn't find out those important information despite being so powerful. It was because they had been destroyed in the most direct way. Moreover, the process of destruction was so painful. And this kind of destruction would cause fatal damage to the brain. Yang Dingtian really owed him a huge favor. A few minutes later, Miju Tuchuo woke up. He opened his eyes and looked at Yang Dingtian and Yanyan. At first, he was confused, then he sneered and said, "Why haven't you left? Why are you here again? Didn't I drive you away? You came yesterday, and you came today. It's useless even if you come every day." Then, Miju Tuchuo's eyes fell on Yanyan's face and said, "It's still the same condition. If you want the golden demon core of the Naga royalty, you can exchange it with your wife." As expected, this part of his memory had been destroyed by him. Therefore, Miju Tuchuo still thought that he hadn't lent his demon core. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, "I'm going to take Yanyan out tomorrow to have a fight with Songyu. Therefore, I'm not here to ask for the demon core today. I'm here to play a game of chess with you. You want to move me? You want to play tricks? Dream on." Miju Tuchuo sneered and said, "Not to mention one game of chess, even 10 or 100 games won't work." Yang Dingtian didn't say anything. Instead, he directly placed the chess pieces. Then, the two of them began to play chess. Soon, Miju Tuchuo was immersed in the game and no longer sarcastic. Half an hour later. Suddenly, the surrounding space suddenly darkened. An incomparably powerful energy came crashing down like Mount Tai. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian, Miju Tuchuo, and Yanyan were all unable to move or even breathe. They were truly unable to move. they couldn't even move a finger. Then, the magma below suddenly surged up and condensed into a human figure, a figure that was more than 10 meters tall. The master of the Netherworld Sea, Sect Master Wu Yu. This was the most powerful person Yang Dingtian had ever seen. Seeing Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan here, Sect Master Wu Yu glanced at them from the corner of his eyes. Then, he looked at Miju Tuchuo and said, "Miju, what are these two doing here?" Wu Yu's voice was still strange. It was completely different from a man's and a woman's. Miju Tuchuo regained his ability to move and hurriedly knelt on the ground and said, reporting to Sect Master, Long Dingtian is here to curry favor with the Naga royalty's golden demon core. Did you give it to him? Wu Yu asked. No, this belongs to the master. I'm just keeping it for him. How could I dare to give it to someone else? After saying that, Miju Tuchuo took out the demon core and raised it high. At this moment, Yang Dingtian was extremely glad. Fortunately, he kept his promise and returned the demon core on time. Otherwise, the only consequence would be the death of Miju Tuchuo, himself, Yan Yan, and even Elder Wuyan. A mass of magma floated over and wrapped around the golden demon core as if to examine the demon core. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian felt that he couldn't breathe at all. His heart was about to burst out. If the demon core was discovered to be strange, then everyone present would be dead. Soon, the mass of magma left the demon core. Take a good look at this demon core and think about it. See if you can remember anything. Wu Yu said lightly. Yes, master. Miju Tuchuo put the demon core into his arms and knelt on the ground. Wu Yu responded. Then, the magma gradually fell back into the magma river below. Wu Yu's figure completely disappeared from sight. After Wu Yu left, Miju Tuchuo collapsed on the ground. He tried to get up but couldn't. It was obvious that he was completely terrified of Sect Master Wu Yu. Yang Dingtian wanted to help Miju Tuchuo up but was pushed away. Don't touch me, get out, don't kill me, Miju Tuchuo screamed crazily. His whole body was trembling as if he was terrified to the extreme. Yang Dingtian took a few steps back and bowed deeply. Senior, take care. We're leaving. Then, Yang Dingtian pulled the sad Yan Yan and left the dungeon. Back on Wuyan Island, Yang Dingtian used Profound Fire to cut off 3 inches from the last foot of Naga's purple Profound Vein. Then, he used Profound Fire to melt the 3 inches of Profound Vein, turning it into countless photons. Devouring and refining these photons would strengthen and upgrade his own Profound Vein. Sure enough, this 3 inches of Naga's purple Profound Vein allowed Yang Dingtian's Profound Vein to break through half a level, just enough to reach revered martial artist level. Of course, this 1 inch of Naga's purple Profound Vein didn't raise the grade of Yang Dingtian's Profound Vein at all. It only had a strengthening effect. However, Yang Dingtian was already completely satisfied. The next day. The 3 days were definitely up. The time to fight Song Yu had arrived. Chapter 313. Yang Dingtian, no matter if you win or lose, I will do everything in my power to protect your life and martial arts. Elder Wuyan said to Yang Dingtian, so, no matter what the result of this battle is, don't risk your life. Yang Dingtian nodded and said, yes, Grandma. Yan Yan desperately wanted to go with you, but in order not to affect your performance in the battle, I didn't let her go. I let her wait for you here. Anyway, if you lose, she will definitely not leave alone. She will stay with you in the Sea of Hades. Elder Wuyan said, in my eyes, you have already won by breaking through to the martial venerable level. You are already better than Song Yu. You don't need to prove anything in this battle. Elder Wuyan had always been very cool. She had always been indifferent to Yang Dingtian. Perhaps it was because she loved him, or perhaps she had already accepted Yang Dingtian in her heart. At this time, she was very concerned about Yang Dingtian, although it was not as good as her feelings for Yan Yan. I understand, Grandma. Yang Dingtian looked at Yan Yan. At this time, her beautiful eyes were full of worry and fear. But she still forced a smile at Yang Dingtian. In fact, she really wanted to go with Yang Dingtian, but Grandma said that it might affect Yang Dingtian's performance in the battle. So, even if she wanted to go with him, she did not dare to say it. Grandma, let Yan Yan go with me. Anyway, even if I lose face, it will not affect my image in her heart. She will not fall in love with someone else. Yang Dingtian said with a smile. He knew very well how torturous this kind of waiting was for Yan Yan. No, even if you turn around and run away, or even kneel on the ground and beg for mercy, you will still be the most handsome. I will still love you. Yan Yan blurted out. Then, she rushed towards Yang Dingtian, hugged Yang Dingtian's neck, and kissed him hard on the lips. Wuxian Granny shook her head helplessly and waved her hand. Go, go. Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan rode to the Golden Beach. Baby, I asked you to spread the news of my battle with Song Yu these few days. Did you spread it out? Yang Dingtian asked. The news has spread. All the beautiful female disciples in the Sea of Hades know about it. They will probably come to watch the battle. Yan Yan said. Did you make it clear to them that only beautiful female disciples are allowed to watch the battle? Not a single male disciple is allowed to come. Yang Dingtian asked. Don't worry, I've already said it clearly. Don't let any stinky men come over. Yan Yan said, Husband, what do you mean by this? Do you want all the beautiful women in the Sea of Hades to see your heroic appearance so that they will fall in love with you at first sight? Are you so sure about this battle? Are you not afraid of losing face in front of so many beautiful women after losing? Of course not. Yang Dingtian said, I let so many beautiful women watch to put pressure on Song Yu, lest he kill me after I lose. Ah! Yan Yan opened her small mouth in disbelief. Was this still her honorable husband? Husband, don't tell me you have no confidence in this battle? Yan Yan said, and let so many beautiful women watch, how can you make Song Yu show mercy? Of course I don't have the confidence to win. Song Yu is too powerful. Your husband can't beat him. Yang Dingtian said, as for the reason why I let so many beautiful women watch, let me ask you, is Song Yu a sanctimonious hypocrite? Yes. Yan Yan said, there is no man who can pretend better than him. Then does he care about his image very much? Yang Dingtian said, especially in front of so many beautiful women? Yes, this person would rather have poise than his life. Yan Yan said, so every day he has to comb his hair meticulously and take care of his clothes meticulously. He is more vain than us women. Yes, there are so many beautiful women watching. Not only does he have to beat me, but he also has to fight beautifully. He must use flashy moves and desperately act handsome. This way, his combat strength will be weaker. Yang Dingtian said, moreover, he has been infatuated with you, right? He thinks that I am not worthy of you at all, so he desperately pursues you, but he also puts on airs and doesn't want to lose face, right? Yes. Yan Yan said. Then, as his rival in love, in order to maintain his poise, even if he beats me, he can't kill me. Instead, he has to be merciful. Otherwise, his image in the eyes of others will be completely ruined. Others will say that this Song Yu is so shameless. In order to snatch Yan Yan Shimin, he actually killed Yan Yan's husband. Yang Dingtian said, so for his own reputation, not only can he not kill me, but he can't let me lose in a very embarrassing way. In order to win brilliantly, he has to be very elegant. In terms of temperament, he has to directly kill me. Of course, in order to prevent him from killing me directly, I can only let you mobilize so many beautiful women in the Netherworld Sea to watch. After Yang Dingtian finished his explanation, Yan Yan was directly stunned. After a long time, she looked at Yang Dingtian. Heavens, my beloved man is so shameless. Yang Dingtian smiled faintly. But I like it. Yan Yan said, this way, it's not pedantic. Yang Dingtian hugged Yan Yan in his arms. That's right, the reason he fought with Song Yu this time was just to leave this place. It wasn't to prove that he was stronger than Song Yu, and it wasn't to laughably fight over Yan Yan, so there was no need to create a life and death situation. In this battle, he would obviously use all his strength, but he definitely didn't want to lose his life, even if it was half. His only goal was to win and then take Yan Yan out. This wasn't a battle of self-esteem with Dongfang Bingling, and this wasn't a battle of the Lord of Cloud Heaven City. It was just to leave the Netherworld Sea. Big brother, I find that every day I spend with you, I love you a little more. Yan Yan gently twisted in Yang Dingtian's arms and embarrassedly said in a low voice, I know that this isn't the right time, but I'm still very emotional. Also, I have a very perverted thought. What thought? Yang Dingtian asked. I want you to take advantage of me in front of Song Yu and desperately take advantage of me. He always thinks that he's high above you, that you're not worthy of me, and that only he is worthy of me. Then, I won't even glance at him, but I'll let you take advantage of me as you please, and I'll even look like I'm enjoying it. I guarantee that he'll be so angry that he'll vomit blood. Yan Yan's voice became even lower, and her beautiful eyes were almost flowing with tears. Yang Dingtian was shocked. He was once again amazed by the thoughts of a beautiful girl like Yan Yan. However, it had to be said that Yan Yan's words seemed to ignite a ball of fire in his heart. He fiercely said, if it wasn't for the fact that the time wasn't right, I'd do you right now. When Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan arrived at the Golden Beach, Song Yu was still sitting cross-legged on the beach. His hair was meticulous, and his snow-white robe was meticulous. Everything was exactly the same as when Yang Dingtian left 3 days ago. Moreover, he was clearly sitting on the beach, but there wasn't even a speck of sand on his body. Song Yu was really a rare handsome man in the world. At this time, dozens of small boats were moored around the beach. There were all kinds of beauties dressed in palace attire standing on them. Under Yan Yan's gossipy invitation, almost all the beautiful young disciples of the Netherworld Sea were invited. Therefore, at first glance, it really looked like a beauty contest. Those female disciples who didn't receive Yan Yan's invitation must be very disappointed, because this meant that they were expelled from the ranks of the young beauties of the Netherworld Sea by Yan Yan. These dozens of beauties of the Netherworld Sea were fat and thin. Some were gentle, some were fierce, some were graceful, and some were plump. There were all kinds of beauties. Being surrounded by so many beauties, the pressure should be great. But Song Yu was very cold. He didn't even open his eyes. Even a strand of his hair was not messed up. Moreover, he turned a blind eye to the dozens of intoxicated and admiring gazes of the beauties. Worthy of being an expert. He knew that his state of mind must not be messed up before the battle, so he always had the appearance of an ancient well without ripples. When Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan rowed the boat over, all the beauties' gazes looked at Yang Dingtian. They wanted to know which man had subdued a proud peerless beauty like Yan Yan. One must know that for more than a year, Yan Yan was completely indifferent to Song Yu's pursuit. How handsome, how charming, how outstanding Song Yu was, they were very clear. Therefore, they had always been very curious about Yan Yan's legendary husband. However, when they saw him, they could only sigh. It was really better to meet him than to hear about him. Although this Yang Dingtian didn't look ugly, he was quite handsome. But it depended on who he was compared to. Compared to a passerby, of course it was a handsome man. But compared to Song Yu, he was just a passerby. Purely looking at appearance and demeanor, this Yang Dingtian was completely unworthy of Shimin Yan Yan. With Yang Dingtian's appearance and demeanor, probably some 4th or 5th class castle flower or villa flower was just right for him. Seeing Yang Dingtian's arrival, Song Yu slightly opened his eyes. Seeing Yan Yan with a happy face beside Yang Dingtian, Song Yu's heart suddenly stabbed. His tranquil state of mind suddenly shook, but he quickly calmed down, and there was no expression on his face. This person was very proud. Even if he was passionately in love with Yan Yan, his pursuit was very cool, and he was very particular about demeanor. "Husband, I'm here to look at you," Yan Yan said. Then her small hand stroked Yang Dingtian's face, and gently kissed him on the cheek. Finally, the already calm Song Yu's facial muscles twitched. In his heart, Yan Yan was only forced to marry Yang Dingtian by her father's order. In his heart, he had no feelings for Yang Dingtian. At this time, Yang Dingtian's intimate action was undoubtedly a fierce stab in his heart. "Well, then I'm going," Yang Dingtian said. "Well, no matter if I win or lose, when we go back, I'll wash myself clean and serve you well," Yan Yan said tenderly. Then her small hand swept Yang Dingtian's chest in a very secretive manner. After Song Yu saw it, it was as if a bomb directly exploded in his brain and heart. This was the goddess he was bitterly pursuing? She wasn't willing to say a word to him, she wasn't willing to let him touch half a finger, she wasn't even willing to let him see her neck. Now, she actually did such a shameless action in front of Yang Dingtian. This Yang Dingtian, no matter if it was his background, appearance, cultivation, or demeanor, compared to him, the difference was like heaven and earth. But Yan Yan, this peerless beauty, didn't even look at him, but secretly acted so shamelessly towards Yang Dingtian in front of everyone, so enviable. Before, when Yan Yan treated him coldly, Song Yu thought it was because she was reserved. But now, this peerless beauty didn't have the slightest bit of reservation, she was even more wanton than a fox spirit. And, this Yan Yan's image in Song Yu's heart didn't decrease at all, instead it became even more attractive, even more moving. This was clearly the combination of pure as ice and pure as jade and a fox spirit. In everyone's heart, there was a fox spirit plot, hoping that his wife was unparalleled beauty, in front of other men, she was completely a pure saintess, if someone looked at her, she would pull out her sword and fight. But in front of her man, she was like a prostitute, doing all kinds of shameless things. This kind of woman was completely a man's dream. Now, this woman was in front of him, Song Yu. It was just that her man was not him. Her fox spirit side only bloomed in front of other people. Song Yu clearly knew that he shouldn't. At this time, he was really jealous until he wanted to vomit blood. At this time, Yang Dingtian's heart was touched and speechless. Although Yan Yan was very mischievous, such a bold action was definitely not done in public. But in order to provoke Song Yu, in order to make his state of mind uneasy, she actually did such a bold action, dropping all her moral integrity cleanly. But it was also precisely because of this that Yan Yan became even more like a treasure in Yang Dingtian's heart at this time. Sucking in a deep breath, Yang Dingtian suddenly leaped up and flew towards the golden beach. Song Yu, Yang Dingtian specially came to challenge. Note, brothers, begging for a few monthly votes, thanks. Chapter 314. Song Yu tried his best to suppress the crazy jealousy in his heart and gradually closed his eyes. A few seconds later, he opened his eyes again. His eyes were once again haughty as he looked at Yang Dingtian, who had landed in front of him. Yang Dingtian, originally you didn't have the qualifications to fight with me. But Master wanted to punish your arrogance. And I'm the most useless disciple of Master, so I'll punish you. Song Yu said indifferently, but fighting with you really made me lose face. Even if I win, I'm afraid I'll become the laughingstock of the senior brothers. So, Song Yu slowly pulled out his sword. His sword was like autumn water, crystal clear. And it was something Yang Dingtian had never seen before. Yang Dingtian recognized at a glance that this was a soul sword forged with profound ice-cold jade. And the most important thing was that this was no longer a fledgling sword, but a real soul sword. That's right, it was a real soul sword forged with profound fire, profound ice-cold jade, and a fledgling sword. The difference between a soul sword and a fledgling sword was like heaven and earth. A mere fledgling sword was already so powerful, let alone a soul sword. One had to know that even Dongfang Bingling was only a fledgling sword and had not been forged into a soul sword. And Song Yu actually had a soul sword. It seemed that having the Netherworld Sea as his backer was indeed amazing. Of course, having a soul sword did not mean that one could refine a sword soul. In fact, it was already considered amazing to have 1 out of 10 soul swords refined into a sword soul. And it was unknown whether the soul sword in Song Yu's hand had profound vein essence and sea spirit crystal. However, even if there was no profound vein essence and sea spirit crystal, a soul sword was still a soul sword. A fledgling sword could not be compared to it. Yang Dingtian could almost conclude that excluding the other young disciples of the Netherworld Sea, among the many young experts in the world, Song Yu should be the first to have a soul sword. Having a soul sword also meant that Song Yu had a profound fire. Yang Dingtian sighed again. Having a good backer was really good. Dongfang Bingling was a descendant of the Yinyang school, yet she had risked her life for a mystic flame. Song Yu, on the other hand, had silently obtained a mystic flame. An otherworldly force like the Netherworld Sea was indeed powerful to the point of making people fearful. Song Yu drew a circle with the soul sword on the beach, a circle with a diameter of about 2 meters. This circle was formed by the blue light, and Song Yu was standing in the middle of this circle. If I fight with you, even if I win, I will be laughed at by others. So no matter what method you use, as long as you can force me out of this circle, it will be your win. You can take Shimin Yan and leave. Song Yu indifferently said. It seemed that he was really angry. Yan's intimate actions hurt him deeply. Therefore, he wanted to use this method to ruthlessly trample on Yang Dingtian. If you can't even do this, then don't talk big. Don't play to the gallery. Obediently stay in my Netherworld Sea and be the lowest servant. Song Yu coldly shouted. Immediately, the blue circle began to burn fiercely. Yang Dingtian's face turned cold, and also slowly drew out his youngling sword. At this moment, Cho did not make any concealment. It was completely black like an iron rod. Immediately, the beauties of the Netherworld Sea who were watching the battle could not help but laugh. Yang Dingtian's treasure sword compared to Song Yu's was like heaven and earth. Without any nonsense, Yang Dingtian wielded Ah Chao's youngling sword, and like a gust of wind, he charged in. He directly charged into the circle drawn by Song Yu. Kill! A ferocious sword directly slashed toward Song Yu. Without any fanciful moves, it was a solid slash. Song Yu was startled, and then revealed a disdainful sneer. To actually go against his soul sword, he was simply courting death. The only result was that ugly iron rod would be directly cut in half. Seeing Yang Dingtian's ugly sword slashing towards him, Song Yu's right hand lightly swung his sword, and directly met with Yang Dingtian. Bang! A loud sound echoed. A blue ray of light and a red ray of light fiercely burst out, like two lightning bolts fiercely streaking across the sky. Yang Dingtian previously repeatedly said that he wanted Yan to find many beauties to watch. Yan also intimately teased Yang Dingtian to provoke Song Yu, as if Yang Dingtian wanted to take advantage of this battle to play tricks. But in reality, when the battle really started, Yang Dingtian chose the collision of iron and blood. The most direct, most rigid, most dangerous and most disadvantageous collision. Without a doubt, Yang Dingtian was also proud. When the battle really started, even if Song Yu was a 6th-grade revered martial artist, he was fearless and directly used the collision of iron and blood. PFFF, Yang Dingtian's body fiercely retreated, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He only stopped after retreating a few dozen meters. Yan's beautiful eyes suddenly widened, but she clenched her jade teeth and did not make any sound. In the initial battle, it was obvious that Yang Dingtian was at a disadvantage. However, the one who was shocked was Song Yu herself. Although Song Yu looked disdainful towards Yang Dingtian on the surface, in her heart, she valued him very much. After all, more than a year ago, Yang Dingtian was only a Xian martial artist. A year later, although she was not clear about Yang Dingtian's cultivation. But in her heart, she knew that Yang Dingtian's breakthrough was extremely shocking. Facing such a talented opponent, if she really looked down on him, then she would be completely stupid. But even so, this Yang Dingtian was at most a martial ancestor realm. Facing her move just now, the only result was that his Xian meridians were destroyed, and he would completely lose the ability to fight again. But the current Yang Dingtian had only retreated a few dozen meters and spat out a mouthful of blood. What made Song Yu even more shocked was that the weapon in her hand was a soul sword. And the opponent was holding an ugly iron rod. Of course, she knew that this iron rod was definitely not an ordinary iron rod, and was also a very powerful weapon. But facing her own soul sword, the only outcome was that it would definitely be cut in half and completely destroyed. However, in reality, the iron rod in Yang Dingtian's hand did not have any trace of damage. Of course, the soul sword in Song Yu's hand was also intact. Song Yu let out a light breath and spoke unhurriedly, "Yang Dingtian, your strength is truly far beyond my imagination." Yang Dingtian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and did not reply. "But so what, even if you surprised me, you still don't have the qualifications to be my opponent. You still can't make me leave this circle, not even half a step." Song Yu sneered. Yang Dingtian still did not reply. After slightly adjusting his breathing, the youngling's sword in his hand madly waved, and like lightning, once again rushed into Song Yu's circle. Swish 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 swish, Yang Dingtian's sword was like lightning, incomparably fast and mystical. Pig-slaying sword art. That's right, it was the #1 sword art in the world, the pig-slaying sword art. Previously, when he fought with Dugu Fengwu, he also used the pig-slaying sword art, and it was still the most mystical sword art. But his speed was not as fast as Dugu Fengwu, and his mystic qi was not as strong as the demon woman. Therefore, he was completely in the state of being slaughtered and unable to retaliate. If it wasn't for Dugu Fengwu suddenly losing all her mystic qi, Yang Dingtian would have been chopped into pieces. Logically speaking, this should be a nightmare-like memory, and it should make Yang Dingtian not dare to engage in close combat and use the pig-slaying sword art. Especially when Song Yu was much stronger than Dugu Fengwu. However, Yang Dingtian had to wake up from where he had a nightmare. He still chose to use the most dangerous combat method because he wanted to prove that the pig-slaying sword art was still formidable. As long as his cultivation was strong enough, the pig-slaying sword art was still terrifying. In the blink of an eye, Yang Dingtian brandished a few thousand swords. Song Yu was completely enveloped in the mystical sword net. The more he fought, the more appalled Song Yu got. Yang Dingtian's sword art was unprecedentedly formidable and mystical. Especially in this world that didn't pay attention to moves, Yang Dingtian's sword art was simply breathtaking. Of course, he could still deal with it. Even though Yang Dingtian's sword art was incisive and mystical, Song Yu's speed was fast enough, and his mystic qi was strong enough. Yang Dingtian's mystical sword art was completely unable to injure Song Yu. But as long as Yang Dingtian was only 2 or 3 levels weaker than Song Yu, when Yang Dingtian used this set of sword art to engage in close combat, it was unknown who would be the victor. At this moment, there was something that Song Yu couldn't understand. What was the meaning of Yang Dingtian's fighting style? This fighting style was the most disadvantageous and dangerous for Yang Dingtian. Because in every clash of swords, Yang Dingtian would suffer tremendous damage. In fact, after every 10 moves, Yang Dingtian would vomit blood. Why would Yang Dingtian choose such a foolish fighting style? That's right, Yang Dingtian chose the most foolish fighting style. He seemed to have forgotten that he possessed the 8th grade Devil Flame Saber art and the Mystic Flame. He didn't use any of these trump cards, and he didn't even use the Yin-Yang Qi transformation technique. He was just forcefully enduring Song Yu's attacks. He only had one goal, and that was to test himself. In the most difficult actual combat, he wanted to test how much damage he could endure. Also, in the previous battle with Dugu Fengwu, he was beaten to a sorry state. He wanted to regain the confidence he had when he was at a disadvantage in this even more difficult battle. He wanted to test how tough his 9 Yang Mystic Meridians, the modified Mystic Meridians from Naga's Purple Mystic Meridians, and the Golden Mystic Qi from the Naga Royalty's Golden Mystic Qi were after he broke through to the martial revered realm. He wanted to test how tough his Sea of Qi was. If he could withstand Song Yu's attacks in the most disadvantageous situation, then he would have a greater chance of defeating Shimen Ju in the martial contest for the City Lord's position. Therefore, this battle was also a rehearsal for the martial contest for the city lord's position. Yang Dingtian treated Song Yu as his most dangerous whetstone. Shimanju was very dangerous and sinister, but in terms of cultivation, he should be inferior to Song Yu. If he could withstand Song Yu, then he would have a chance of winning against Shimanju, even if his cultivation was a few levels lower than Shimanju. In the end, Yang Dingtian wasn't disappointed. The modified mystic meridians and the transformed sea of qi from the golden mystic qi were much stronger and tougher than Yang Dingtian imagined. Swish, 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 Yang Dingtian's sword was like a shooting star, completely combining the first, second, and third stages of the pig-slaying sword art. It became the most mysterious, most bizarre, and most terrifying sword art. Immediately, the surrounding female disciples of the Netherworld Sea were mesmerized. Their gazes gradually shifted from Song Yu to Yang Dingtian. Although Yang Dingtian was still in a disadvantageous position at this moment. But the one who took the initiative to attack was Yang Dingtian from beginning to end. Even if he kept on vomiting blood, he kept on attacking with all his might. Moreover, his offensive moves were so powerful and dazzling. Bang! A loud sound echoed. Yang Dingtian's body suddenly bounced back over 100 meters, and then fiercely landed on the ground. He spat out another mouthful of blood, and then wiped it off. Just now, he used the first, second, and third stages of the pig-slaying sword art to the extreme, but he still couldn't injure Song Yu, so there was no need to test it again. Yang Dingtian, your sword art is unfathomable, and it's the best I've ever seen. Song Yu said indifferently, however, there's still no way to injure me at all. I admit that you've made me look at you in a new light, but you've already exhausted your abilities. You have no hope in this battle. Yang Dingtian immediately shook his head and said, No, Song Yu, you're wrong. Just now, I haven't really started yet. I only used you as an opponent to hone myself and see how powerful I am. What's the result? Song Yu asked with a smile. The result is very good. Yang Dingtian said, it made me full of confidence to break through you and for the future Cloud Sky City Lords martial arts contest. Song Yu, now I'm going to start for real. I'll use my trump card to break through your defense and take Yen Yen out of this prison of the Netherworld Sea. Ha ha ha. Song Yu sneered and said, Yang Dingtian, I've already begun to look at you seriously, but you just made me look down on you. You want to surpass me, dream on. With a fierce roar, a blue flame suddenly soared into the sky. The blazing blue mystic fire completely enveloped Song Yu from top to bottom. Is that so? Then let's try. Yang Dingtian opened his palm. A beautiful red flame suddenly rose into the sky. This was the million-spirit demonic fire. Next was the real fatal battle, the battle of the mystic fire. Chapter 315. Wow, mystic fire. Seeing the flame emerging from Yang Dingtian's palm, Song Yu's face trembled. The female disciples of the Nether Sea who were watching the battle exclaimed one after another. One must know that even in the Nether Sea, mystic fire was undoubtedly a luxury item. Even Elder Wuyan did not have a real mystic fire. It was just a mixed mystic fire. Therefore, her soul sword still had some impurities in it even now. Similarly, Extermination Duda, as the chief alchemist of the Nether Sea, could not have a real mystic fire. However, this Yang Dingtian actually had a mystic fire. Therefore, all the female disciples of the Nether Sea had their eyes lit up. They looked at Yen Yen with jealousy. A young man who had a mystic fire in this world was no less dazzling than a handsome man who had a jet plane and a yacht worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It was normal for Song Yu to have a mystic fire. He was the beloved disciple of the sect master. However, Yang Dingtian actually had a mystic fire too. You really got a mystic fire. Song Yu said, however, I want to see if your mixed fire can compare to mine. Boom! Immediately, a beautiful blue flame soared into the sky from Song Yu's hand. The absolute blue flame was so beautiful that it made people intoxicated. This flame of mine was condensed from thousands of miles of glaciers for 100 years. It is known as the icy heart heavenly fire. Song Yu said slowly, mystic fire is also divided into many levels. Since you want to compete, then watch your mixed fire be ruthlessly stepped on by me. After saying that, the blue flame rose a few meters in an instant, as if igniting Song Yu's whole body. Of course, this was just a performance. Mystic fire would never hurt its master because it had the same fate as its master. Even if it burned on its master's body, it would not cause any harm. Even if Yang Dingtian had a mystic fire, Song Yu also called it a mixed fire. Mixed fire should actually be called a subfire. It was also a mystic fire. However, it was not pure enough. However, for most people in this world, even a subfire was also a dream. Many Grandmaster-level powerhouses pursued a subfire their whole life but could not get it. Therefore, in the eyes of practically everyone, there was simply no distinction between inferior flames and mystic flames. They were all called mystic flames. Only Song Yu, this kind of proud son of heaven, would keep on saying that he despised subfires as miscellaneous fires. The reason why he thought that Yang Dingtian had obtained a mixed flame was because he felt that Yang Dingtian did not have the ability to obtain a true mystic flame. This was because the real mystic flame bloomed in an extremely harsh environment. With Yang Dingtian's cultivation, it was impossible for him to collect it. In fact, this icy heart heavenly flame was collected mostly because of sect leader Wu Qiong. Otherwise, Song Yu alone would not be able to obtain it. Of course, some people might ask. The mystic flame was extremely precious to anyone. Why did he not want this icy heart heavenly fire Wu Yu and instead give it to his disciple? The reason was that Wu Yu had already collected the icy heart heavenly flame 100 years ago. He already possessed this profound flame, so there was no need for him to possess a second one that was exactly the same. Yang Dingtian, even if it's a mixed flame, it's not easy for you to obtain it. If you really want to fight with me, if it hurts your flame, then you won't even be able to find a place to cry. Song Yu said coldly. Mystic flames were all alive. A naked flame fight would undoubtedly hurt the foundation of the mystic flame, and the consequences would indeed be extremely serious. You don't have to worry about it. Yang Dingtian said. Huff. Then, the ugly sword in his hand suddenly slashed. Boom. Suddenly, everywhere the ugly sword passed, everything was ignited by the mystic flame. The bright red flame hovered in the sky, burning. Then, it suddenly turned into a ferocious giant dragon. Go! Yang Dingtian's sword suddenly slashed. Suddenly, this mystic flame giant dragon turned into a monstrous raging flame and rushed towards Song Yu. Come! Song Yu sneered. The soul sword in his hand suddenly slashed. A blue mystic flame giant dragon suddenly emerged from his sharp sword, instantly burning the entire sky, turning into 100 meters, and rushed toward Yang Dingtian's red mystic flame giant dragon. Boom, it was like Mars colliding with Earth. Two mystic flame giant dragons, one blue and one red, fiercely collided with each other. With a loud bang, a dazzling light burst out. The surrounding seawater suddenly surged with monstrous waves, directly overturning the small boats of the Netherworld Sea's female disciples. Suddenly, dozens of Netherworld Sea's female disciples floated in the sky together, watching this amazing mystic flame battle as if intoxicated. This kind of mystic flame battle was extremely rare. Master-level battles were not rare, and even great Grandmaster-level battles could be seen. But a real mystic flame battle was very, very rare. Very, very few people would directly start a mystic flame battle. One could use the mystic flame to attack the enemy quickly, but releasing the mystic flame to fight alone, the risk was too great. One had to know that the mystic flame also had life. Once it was completely released, a great battle between the mystic flame would occur. That was like a master letting out fighting dogs to bite each other. The master could not control the consequences at all. So in an instant, only two mystic flame giant dragons could be seen growing bigger and bigger. They danced wildly in the air, biting and intertwining crazily. At this moment, the only thing the master could do was to continuously transfer mystic chi. As for how the two mystic flames were fighting, the master could not control it anymore. After a short fierce battle, Yang Dingtian's million-spirit demonic flame was already ferocious. It crazily ignited every inch of the surrounding air, making itself stronger. It was crazily biting and tearing apart Song Yu's icy heart heavenly flame giant dragon, and it did not fall into a disadvantageous position at all. Even if Yang Dingtian's cultivation was much lower than Song Yu's, the million-spirit demonic flame's fire dragon was much smaller, not even half the size of the other party. That's right, the mystic flame's energy was completely supplied by the master's mystic chi. The stronger the master's mystic chi, the bigger the mystic flame, and the stronger the mystic flame. As for the spirituality and ferocity of the battle, it depended on the grade of the mystic flame itself. At this moment, the fierce battle between the two mystic flames was already hundreds of meters high in the sky. Waves of terrifying roars were heard, as if to deafen one's ears. A casual gust of wind was enough to break a person's bones. It looked like two giant dragons were really fighting. The entire sea was already roaring and rolling, turning the sky and the earth upside down. Everyone could see it. Song Yu's mystic flame giant dragon was even bigger. It was at least 200 to 300 meters long, and its strength was also greater. However, Yang Dingtian's red mystic flame giant dragon was only 100 meters long. It was incomparably ferocious and domineering. Although its strength was much smaller than the other party, its ferocity and ruthlessness made Song Yu's icy heart heavenly flame a little fearful. What did this mean? It meant that Yang Dingtian's mystic flame was of a higher grade, and its battle talent was higher, and it was more ferocious. At this moment, Song Yu was completely shocked to the point of trembling. He originally thought that Yang Dingtian's mystic flame was at most a miscellaneous flame. Compared to his extreme grade icy heart heavenly flame, it was far inferior. Therefore, Yang Dingtian actually wanted to compete with his mystic flame. He found it laughable from the bottom of his heart. He felt that Yang Dingtian was very vulgar. He could not wait to show off a miscellaneous flame as if it was a treasure. Who knew that when the battle really started, he would be the one who was shocked. Yang Dingtian's mystic flame was so terrifying and sharp. Because Yang Dingtian's mystic chi cultivation was too much lower than his, the mystic flame giant dragon was only 1/3 of his size, but it was not at a disadvantage in the battle. Even his icy heart heavenly flame giant dragon was a little frightened. Instantly, Song Yu's gaze towards Yang Dingtian was filled with killing intent. His gaze towards the mystic flame giant dragon was also filled with jealousy and killing intent. Originally, he had only planned to defeat Yang Dingtian casually and let Shimin Yanyan see clearly that there was a world of difference between him and Yang Dingtian. It was like the difference between clouds and mud. But now, not only did Yang Dingtian completely capture Shimin Yanyan's heart, but he also obtained such a powerful and terrifying mystic flame. Song Yu did not know how powerful this mystic flame was. But without a doubt, it was more than a grade higher than his mystic flame. Originally, Yang Dingtian's cultivation was not his opponent at all. Now, because his mystic flame was of a higher grade than his, they were actually evenly matched. Those who did not know would think that Yang Dingtian's cultivation was really on par with his. This Yang Dingtian could not be left alive. He could not be allowed to become stronger. Especially this mystic flame of his. He had to take advantage of its owner's weakness to completely destroy it. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Song Yu immediately made up his mind. No matter how much he had to pay, he had to completely destroy Yang Dingtian's mystic flame. As long as the mystic flame was destroyed, Yang Dingtian would not have any hope. Yang Dingtian, you're the one who's seeking death. Don't blame me. Song Yu said coldly. Mystic demon devouring ghost formula, Song Yu's face abruptly changed. His originally rosy handsome face instantly became incomparably pale and shocking. The originally mesmerizing eyes instantly became incomparably demonic and cold. The originally rosy lips instantly became a dazzling black color. Song Yu, a peerless handsome man, instantly became bewitching and gorgeous. Then, a black mark suddenly appeared around his body. Swoosh 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 swoosh. The surrounding air, sea, and beach's mystic chi energy frantically poured into his body. Suddenly, Song Yu's mystic chi cultivation fiercely skyrocketed. 6-star revered martial artist. 7-star revered martial artist. 8-star revered martial artist. 9-star revered martial artist. At the same time, the icy heart heavenly fire dragon's body suddenly increased by 3 times, and its power increased by several times. The originally stunning blue color was instantly enveloped by a layer of terrifying black. The originally frightened icy heart heavenly fire blue dragon seemed to have been demonized. It became incomparably ferocious and terrifying. Even the female disciples of the Netherworld Sea who were present felt a burst of fear. The 1,000-meter-long dragon shrouded the sky, causing the entire sky to become dark. It was as if a demon had descended. And Yang Dingtian's ferocious red million-spirit demon fire dragon was still only 100 meters long. It was only 1/10 of the opponent's size. The originally huge dragon became incomparably small in comparison. Song Yu, you're shameless and deceitful. Yan Yan angrily shouted. Song Yu's eyes revealed a murderous aura. He looked at Yang Dingtian and laughed coldly. Yang Dingtian, bid farewell to your mystic flame. It's going to be completely destroyed. At the same time, Song Yu's 1,000-meter-long demonized blue mystic flame dragon suddenly opened its huge mouth and swallowed Yang Dingtian's red mystic flame dragon. Chapter 316. That's right, Song Yu used sorcery. In order to completely destroy Yang Dingtian's terrifying mysterious fire, Song Yu finally gave up on being casual and chose to use sorcery to completely destroy Yang Dingtian's mysterious fire. Not only did he overdraft his own mysterious chi, he also crazily devoured all the mysterious chi around him. He forcibly overdrafted his cultivation from a 6-star revered martial artist to a 9-star revered martial artist. He made his mysterious fire dragon 3 times stronger just to destroy Yang Dingtian's mysterious fire. Because of jealousy, because of anger. How could a person like Yang Dingtian be worthy of a peerless beauty like Shimin Yanyan? How could he be worthy of such an amazing mysterious fire? So, he must completely destroy it. Even if the price was to be unable to cultivate for nearly a year. In the trembling eyes of the crowd, they only saw the blue and black 1,000-meter-long dragon opening its terrifying dark mouth and swallowing Yang Dingtian's red mysterious fire dragon. That red mysterious fire dragon crazily struggled to escape. But that blue mysterious ice heart heavenly fire dragon that seemed to have been demonized was too big and too fast. It didn't leave any chance for its opponent and directly swallowed it. Then, that red mysterious fire dragon completely disappeared. Everyone cried out in surprise. Looking at all this in disbelief, looking at the disappearing red mysterious fire dragon, their eyes were filled with infinite sadness. Even the female disciples of the Netherworld Sea had a look of shock and sadness. Even though Song Yu belonged to their side, even though many of them were once infatuated with Song Yu. But now, they were full of disdain for Song Yu and sympathy and sadness for Yang Dingtian. Anyone could see that Song Yu used a very dishonorable method. Although the Netherworld Sea wasn't a Tiando League and didn't reject sorcery. But after all, this wasn't a life and death battle, but a competition, and it wasn't even a very important competition. To Yang Dingtian, maybe winning or losing was very important, but to Song Yu, winning or losing was only a face. But Song Yu still used a dishonorable method to completely destroy Yang Dingtian. This super handsome man, this cold and elegant proud son of the heavens, made them extremely disappointed. They now understood why Shimin Yanyan would choose Yang Dingtian and not look at Song Yu. This Song Yu's despicableness made his handsome face especially ugly. But all this sympathy couldn't be exchanged for anything. Yang Dingtian's mysterious fire dragon. Song Yu used a despicable method to devour it. The mysterious fighting flame was to fight a battle. In the beginning, he had used the most dangerous and direct method to fight against Song Yu. He realized that even though he had broken through to the martial honorable level, it was still very difficult for him to be a match for him. And his trump card was the 100 million demonic fire. He firmly believed that his million-spirit demonic flame could defeat Song Yu's mystic flame. So, he used to fight the mysterious fire. As long as Song Yu lost the mysterious fire battle, or even if it was a draw, Yang Dingtian would be able to leave. Furthermore, to prevent Song Yu from using any evil methods, he had specially summoned many beautiful female disciples from the Sea of Hades to watch the battle. This was to pressure Song Yu so that he would care about his image and not use any dishonorable methods. Who would have thought that Song Yu would still use sorcery? After devouring Yang Dingtian's mysterious fire dragon, Song Yu's smile became complacent and sinister. He said, "Yang Dingtian, did you think I would be so pedantic that I wouldn't use any tricks? You're too naive." "Huh." Song Yu laughed as he frantically channeled his mysterious chi into the blue-black dragon's stomach to completely crush the 100 million demonic fire dragon. "Yang Dingtian, your mysterious fire is finished. You're finished too." Song Yu said coldly, "After I destroy the mysterious fire, you'll be next. No one can leave after offending the Sea of Hades." At this moment, Song Yu had completely shed all pretense of cordiality. Not only did he want to destroy Yang Dingtian's mysterious fire, but he also wanted to completely destroy Yang Dingtian. Shameless, the ones who scolded were none other than the many female disciples from the Sea of Hades. As for Yan Yan, she had already placed her hand on her sword and was prepared for the worst. Yang Dingtian looked at the sinister Song Yu and slowly closed his eyes. "Why? Have you accepted your fate?" Song Yu sneered. After Yang Dingtian closed his eyes, he felt the 100 million demonic fire dragon in his stomach. At this moment, the huge 100 million demonic fire dragon was being crushed in the blue-black dragon's stomach and was in great danger. As for the heart flame in Yang Dingtian's sea of qi, it was on the verge of collapse and could be extinguished at any time. Yang Dingtian had entered the most dangerous moment. He did not want to fight to the death. He only wanted to think of a way to break through Song Yu's defenses or force the arrogant Song Yu to let him leave through a draw. However, who knew that Song Yu's arrogance was completely fake? He directly shed all pretense of cordiality and revealed his most sinister side. "Next, it's time to put myself in death and then come back to life." Yang Dingtian took a deep breath. Then, he ignited a weak heart flame in his sea of qi and directly burned the walls of his sea of qi. The Sea of Qi that contained mysterious fire dragon was an alternative space formed by the walls of the Sea of Qi. As for the walls of the Sea of Qi, they were formed by the mysterious fire dragon after being compressed by thousands of times. Therefore, using the heart flame to burn the walls of the Sea of Qi was a kind of reverse transformation. Turning the Sea of Qi back into mysterious fire dragon and releasing it. What would happen if the walls of the Sea of Qi were turned into mysterious fire dragon? The wall of his Sea of Qi was getting thinner and thinner. If it was light, his cultivation would degenerate. If it was heavy, his Sea of Qi would explode. Therefore, in the primal chaos mainland, when a person wanted to perish together with his enemy, he would most likely choose to detonate his Sea of Qi. The so-called detonate of the Sea of Qi was to use the heart flame to burn the walls of the Sea of Qi and turn the Sea of Qi, which had been condensed for decades, back into mysterious fire dragon and then explode it. The only outcome was, of course, to be smashed into pieces. Yang Dingtian's method was not to detonate the Sea of Qi, but the nature was very similar. It was just a very small version of detonating the Sea of Qi. The consequences were extremely serious. If it was light, the cultivation base would degenerate. If it was heavy, the Sea of Qi would explode and the body would be smashed into pieces. Therefore, this was called putting oneself in death and fighting to live. Yang Dingtian dared to do this because his Sea of Qi was golden. In the end, it was the golden mysterious fire dragon that condensed a brand new Sea of Qi from the Naga royalty. Huff! The heart flame crazily burned the walls of the Sea of Qi. And Yang Dingtian's million-spirit demon fire dragon was struggling desperately. It was riddled with scars and could be completely destroyed at any time. Boom! Finally, where the heart flame ignited the inner walls of the Sea of Qi, countless mysterious fire dragons suddenly burst out. In an instant, the empty Sea of Qi was filled up. But this time, the mysterious fire dragon that was filled up was not the battle mysterious fire dragon. It was not even pure mysterious fire dragon, but golden mysterious fire dragon. Go! Yang Dingtian ordered. Suddenly, the golden mysterious fire dragon violently surged out, through Yang Dingtian's profound veins, and fiercely shot toward the million-spirit demon fire dragon. After the golden mysterious fire dragon was infused with the million-spirit demon fire dragon. In an instant, the red fire dragon's body suddenly burst out with a dazzling golden color. The fire dragon, which was originally riddled with wounds and on the verge of death, instantly recovered. Its body did not become bigger, but it was originally composed of flames. At this time, it was completely composed of golden light and red flames. It became condensed and almost solid. Oh, there was a roar that almost shook the sky and the earth. Bang! An enormous explosion resounded as an enormous hole suddenly appeared on the chest and abdomen of the blue and black profound flame dragon controlled by Song Yu. After that, a golden-colored profound flame dragon suddenly charged out from within. It was like a king descending to the world. This golden fire dragon soared into the sky, then swooped down and ferociously entangled Song Yu's blue-black profound fire dragon. It opened its golden mouth, revealing its golden fangs, aimed at the blue-black profound fire dragon's neck, and fiercely bit down. No! Song Yu let out a mournful howl. His blue-black profound fire dragon's neck was suddenly bitten open, and its huge head seemed like it would break off and fall off at any time. Countless blue-black flames fell from the sky. When they fell into the sea turned black and instantly froze into ice. No! In the midst of Song Yu's howl, Yang Dingtian's golden profound fire dragon continued to crazily bite, as if it wanted to tear the enemy 10 times its size into pieces. Ah! Song Yu's eyes were filled with determination amidst his frantic howl. Boom! Then, the 1,000-meter-long blue-black profound fire dragon's huge head suddenly broke off and exploded. The remaining half of its body quickly shrank, and with lightning speed, retracted into Song Yu's body. This Song Yu was actually so decisive. He directly cut off his head to survive. Because his profound fire dragon's head was already entangled, and its entire body was about to be completely destroyed. He decisively cut off the dragon's head, and returned the remaining small part of the profound fire dragon to his body. One must know that this profound fire dragon's head took up more than half of the profound fire dragon's energy. In other words, the profound fire that returned to his body was already completely damaged, and its energy was less than half of its original. Originally, this was a top-grade profound fire, but now, it was probably not even comparable to a mixed fire. After cutting off the profound fire dragon's head to survive, Song Yu looked at Yang Dingtian with eyes filled with endless hatred. Yang Dingtian, you destroyed my profound fire today, and I will definitely let you die without a burial place. After saying that, Song Yu suddenly pulled out his sharp sword, wanting to completely smash Yang Dingtian into pieces. At this moment, many female disciples from the Netherworld Sea were still in shock from Yang Dingtian's victory. Seeing Song Yu actually wanted to kill with his sword, they could not help but angrily rebuke. Yang Dingtian looked at Song Yu and sneered, "Do you think that you are still a 6-star marshal revered after using the sorcery?" Yang Dingtian slowly raised the ugly sword in his hand, wielding an incomparably powerful force, and said coldly, "Originally, we did not need to fight to the death. I only wanted to break through you, and not defeat you. The best result would be that I lost, but I succeeded in breaking through you. I did not expect you to be so fierce and narrow-minded, wanting to kill me. Then, don't blame me for being ruthless." After saying that, Yang Dingtian's sharp sword suddenly slashed. Immediately, that huge golden profound fire dragon in the sky suddenly shot towards Song Yu. Do you think that your profound fire dragon can break through my treasure's defense? Song Yu sneered. Suddenly, his entire body was enveloped by a snow-white light shield. There were countless treasures in the Netherworld Sea, and this light shield was even more valuable than Yang Dingtian's deep-sea Xian clothes. You are courting death. Yang Dingtian sneered. He slashed his wrist. Paw! A bolt of lightning was directly spat out from the golden profound fire dragon's mouth. That's right, this was the lightning attribute's demonic sky split. The point attribute's attack could completely ignore all energy defense, and directly penetrate it. This blue lightning instantly turned into a golden color in the dragon's mouth, and blended with the dragon's color. Then, it fiercely slashed into Song Yu's chest, and directly tore a huge crack on his light shield. Impossible, then, in Song Yu's disbelieving exclamation, this golden profound fire dragon suddenly drilled into the light shield's crack, and fiercely hit Song Yu's chest, and then directly penetrated through his body. Of course, the so-called penetrating through his body was actually crushing him, because this golden profound fire dragon's body was huge, far bigger than Song Yu's body. Puff! Blood crazily spurted out. Song Yu's body, like a straw, was directly sent flying a few hundred meters away, and fiercely fell into the sea. And that golden profound fire dragon made a turn in the air, and then directly flew back to Yang Dingtian, and became smaller and smaller. Finally, it turned into a golden flame, and directly drilled back into Yang Dingtian's lower abdomen, and turned into the heart's flame in his chi sea, quietly burning, elegant and peaceful, as if that ferocious dragon just now was not it. Moreover, Yang Dingtian shockingly discovered that his profound fire was no longer red in color, but golden in color. His million-spirit demon fire permanently turned golden, and carried the domineering energy of the Naga royalty. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath, and stretched out his hand towards Yan Yan, and said, "Darling, let's go, leave this place." Chapter 317. At this moment, the icy heart heavenly fire dragon's flames had stopped falling. The surrounding sea was filled with black flames and black floating ice. Yan Yan held back her tears and reached out to hold Yang Dingtian's hand. The surrounding dozens of young and female disciples of the Netherworld Sea applauded with envy and blessings in their eyes. As for Song Yu, who fell into the sea, he never got up again. Of course, he was definitely not dead. Yang Dingtian's mystic flame could not harm his life. Even though he had overdrawn his mystic chi and his body was very empty, he was still a 6-star marshal revered. Yang Dingtian released countless souls of the million-spirit demonic flame and flew towards the energy barrier above his head, looking for the exit of the Netherworld Sea. The Golden Beach was a few thousand meters above the entrance of the Netherworld Sea. Therefore, the battle with the mystic flame dragon did not touch the energy barrier at the top. Soon, countless resentful spirits found the exit of the energy barrier. Yang Dingtian held Yan Yan's hand and the ethereal mystic wings appeared on his back. He was about to fly out. Wait, suddenly, a voice seemed to come from the horizon. The voice was not loud, but it shook everyone's body. It was the master of the Netherworld Sea, Wu Yu. "Greetings, Master." Instantly, dozens of female disciples of the Netherworld Sea knelt down. Their faces were almost touching the sea and they did not dare to look up. The blue-black mystic flame energy scattered on the sea gradually gathered and turned into Wu Yu's appearance, floating in the air. "Song Yu, how long are you going to hide?" Wu Yu said coldly. Immediately, Song Yu flew out from the sea and knelt down in the air. His face was in a mess and he looked dispirited. "Song Yu, are you seriously injured?" Wu Yu asked. "No, Master." Song Yu said. "Then you can't defeat Yang Dingtian?" Wu Yu asked. "No." Song Yu said, "Yang Dingtian is not my opponent." "Then why did you lose?" Wu Yu asked. "Because he competed with me in Mystic Flame." Song Yu said, "If it was a normal battle, he would not be half as strong as me." "That's right, he was using a strategy." Wu Qiong said, "He used your arrogance and underestimation of the enemy." He used his strength to fight against your weakness. But why did you agree when he said that he wanted to compete in Profound Flame? Song Yu immediately fell silent. That's right. Why did he have to agree? If it was a normal duel, Yang Dingtian had no chance of winning at all, nor would he be able to force him out of the circle. If he wanted to compete with the Profound Flame, why should he agree? Because you are conceited, arrogant, and supercilious. I feel that no matter which direction you take, Yang Dingtian is not your match at all. Wu Yu said, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. However, if one was proud, one should be proud to the end. If one was shameless, one should be shameless to the end. You cheated, you used sorcery, but so what? This was not the Taekwondo League, and no one would be judged by morality. Why are you hiding in the sea and not daring to show your face after losing? Do you feel ashamed to face others? Yes, Song Yu replied. What's there to be ashamed about? Wu Yu sneered, you lost dishonorably, but he won dishonorably as well. Then, Wu Yu stared at Yang Dingtian, don't you think so? Yang Dingtian, you won dishonorably. Yang Dingtian said, although I don't care about being dishonorable, I still want to ask, how did I win dishonorably? Because you stole. Wu Chong said. Sect Master Wu Yu, please speak clearly. Yang Dingtian said. Because you stole a treasure from the Sea of Hades, the golden demon core of the Naga royalty, isn't that right? Wu Yu said coldly. Yang Dingtian's heart suddenly trembled. Don't try to deny it. Wu Yu said, because your last mysterious flame dragon was filled with the golden energy of the Naga royalty. You stole the demon core of the Naga royalty from the Sea of Hades from Miju Tuchuo. What a joke. Yang Dingtian sneered, Sect Master Wu Yu, I went to Senior Miju Tuchuo to ask for the Naga royalty demon core, but I was rejected. Moreover, the Naga royalty demon core is in Senior Miju Tuchuo's hands, and you have seen it before. Still want to quibble? Wu Yu said coldly, if it wasn't for the Naga royalty demon core, how could you break through to the revered level in just a few days? When did I break through to the revered level? Yang Dingtian said, I'm only a 9-star martial ancestor now, and I haven't broken through to the revered level at all. I did break through in the past few days, but that was because of the purple Naga Shen veins. I have a full 3 feet of purple Naga Shen veins. You will know my specific cultivation level with a gentle probe. Wu Yu frowned, and suddenly a cloud of black fog gushed out and drilled into Yang Dingtian's wrist. A moment later, it withdrew. At this time, Yang Dingtian's cultivation level had indeed not reached the revered level. As for my Shen flame containing the golden energy of the Naga, I can only say that I have a very close relationship with the Naga. I am wearing the deep sea Shen clothes, and I also have the Naga's deep sea Shen poison, Yang Dingtian said. Yang Dingtian absolutely could not admit that he had obtained the Naga royalty demon core. Once he admitted it, he would almost certainly die. Because he was afraid of Saint Tantai, otherwise Yang Dingtian would have died long ago. And if he admitted that he had obtained the Naga royalty core, then Wu Yu would be completely justified in killing Yang Dingtian. You are really a glib talker. Sect Master Wu Yu said coldly, but all your explanations are futile. I can easily drill into the deepest part of your brain. You have no secrets to me. Yang Dingtian's heart suddenly trembled, and he said in his heart, Master, quickly protect the consciousness in my brain. Dongfang Minmi said, I will do my best, but I can't guarantee that I can resist this person's mental penetration. Yang Dingtian could not help but ask, Master, how strong is this Wu Yu? Much stronger than me. Dongfang Minmi said, because the Netherworld Sea belongs to the outside forces, it is not listed in the martial arts rankings of the chaotic world. Perhaps, it is second only to the people of the Hidden Sect and the Temple of Annihilation. At this moment, Wu Yu turned into a cloud of black mist and suddenly flew over, entangling Yang Dingtian's entire body. At this moment, Yang Dingtian's entire body was completely unable to move. Then, a completely irresistible energy suddenly drilled into Yang Dingtian's brain. In an instant, Yang Dingtian's brain was completely blank. It was as if when his cultivation broke through, his entire spirit entered a complete nothingness. It was as if his entire brain was completely out of his control. At this time, Wu Yu's consciousness had already entered Yang Dingtian's brain, searching for the most secret information. However, the situation was slightly different. Yang Dingtian was not completely nothingness at this moment. It was as if he was standing high up in the sky and watching his spirit and consciousness, as if this brain was not his own. All of a sudden, this cloud of black mist suddenly trembled. A light burst out from the depths of Yang Dingtian's mind. Swoosh 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 swoosh, this cloud of black mist quickly withdrew from Yang Dingtian's brain and loosened its entanglement around Yang Dingtian. It retreated a few hundred meters and then condensed back into Wu Yu's appearance. Wu Yu's eyes were fixed on Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian asked in his heart, "Master, did you block Wu Yu's consciousness?" Dongfang Minmi was silent for a moment. After a long time, he said, "No, this person's strength is far beyond my imagination." Yang Dingtian's heart went cold. Once Wu Yu's consciousness completely penetrated Yang Dingtian's brain, there were basically no secrets left, not to mention the information related to the Naga royalty core. Right now, Wu Yu could kill Yang Dingtian, Miju Tuchuo, and even Elder Wu Yan confidently. However, Wu Yu did not do anything. He only stared coldly at Yang Dingtian. After a long time, he said coldly, "Now, do you still want to say that you did not steal the Naga royalty core?" "Of course not." Yang Dingtian said coldly. "Ha ha ha." Wu Yu suddenly laughed. Suddenly, the sky shook and the earth shook. The sea water surged and Yang Dingtian could not stand still. After a few minutes, Wu Yu stopped laughing and waved his hand. "Okay, Yang Dingtian, you can go." Yang Dingtian was stunned. What did this mean? Wu Yu was sure that he had obtained the Naga royalty core, but he still let him go. What kind of play was Wu Yu planning? Or, what kind of conspiracy did he have? Song Yu, recuperate in the Netherworld Sea for half a month, then go out and cultivate. Wu Yu said. Then, the blue-black mysterious fire energy condensed into a blue flame and rushed back into Song Yu's body. Wu Yu disappeared in front of Yang Dingtian's eyes. Yang Dingtian was completely stunned and puzzled. What kind of trick was Wu Yu playing? Previously, he looked like he wanted to kill him, but now he let him go so easily. What was his purpose? Or did he find out something? What are you still standing there for? Why are you still not leaving? Suddenly, Elder Wu Yan's scolding came from the front. Yang Dingtian only heard her voice but did not see her figure. Immediately, he pulled Yan Yan towards the direction of Elder Wu Yan's voice and bowed, "Grandma, take care." Of course, Yang Dingtian had already put a holy water pill in Elder Wu Yan's medicine. He just did not tell her. Then, Yang Dingtian pulled Yang Dingtian and flew towards the exit of the Netherworld Sea. Soon enough, Yang Dingtian had left the Sea of Hades and arrived at the Silver Beach. Yan Yan looked at the Netherworld Sea under the sea and murmured, "I finally left this place. Let's go." Yang Dingtian kissed her and pulled her to the other side of the Silver Beach. Stepping on the fast boat here, they rowed towards the north. On the small boat, Yang Dingtian was rowing. Yan Yan lay comfortably on his lap with her beautiful eyes closed, enjoying the beautiful tranquility. "Husband, the thing that happened 6 years ago, the most painful secret in my heart, do you want to know now?" Yan Yan suddenly asked. Yang Dingtian, "Of course I want to know. I especially want to know who was so crazy to put an energy black hole in you, something even more terrible than the deep-sea Shen poison." Chapter 318. And then? Yang Dingtian asked. Yan Yan tried her best to stop crying and said, "After knowing that he was my cousin Yang Zheng, I didn't dare to bring him back to Cloud Sky City. I only dared to drive the carriage to a remote place. I settled him in a rural mountain more than 500 miles away from Cloud Sky City. I found an abandoned hut and let him recuperate there. His injuries were very serious. I was afraid that he wouldn't be able to take it, so I secretly returned to Cloud Sky City and asked Sister Ningning for good pills. I even brought Lu along. Lu stayed in the hut to take care of him. I went out every day to gather herbs and hunt beasts to treat his injuries. Just like that, I took care of him for 2 months before his injuries gradually recovered. And then? Yang Dingtian asked, Martial Uncle Shiman, you didn't know? Yan Yan didn't directly answer Yang Dingtian's question and said, after Yang Zheng's injuries recovered, he suddenly left without saying goodbye. I was anxious and angry, so I ran out to find him. In the end, I found him more than 100 miles away. He had fainted on the side of the road. I was very angry and asked him why he left so quickly. He said, what can I do if I don't leave? Could it be that there was still something between us? After saying this, Yang Dingtian's face suddenly frowned. Yan Yan hurriedly kissed his face to please him. Actually, when I was very young, Father had already arranged a marriage for me. Yan Yan said, when he first took over the position of Cloud Sky City Lord, Father said that the position of City Lord belonged to the Yang family and that he would return it to the Yang family in the future. So when I was very young, he arranged a marriage between cousin Yang Zheng and me. So, since we were young, Cloud Sky City treated us as a couple, so he was especially good to me. Until the year I was 10, the Yang family rebelled. They wanted to kill my father and take over the position of Cloud Sky City Lord. Father ruthlessly suppressed them and then chased the rebelling Yang family members out. That's why this marriage was left unsettled. And then? Yang Dingtian asked. Then, he suddenly cried and begged me to elope with him, Yan Yan said. Do you agree? Yang Dingtian asked. I didn't. I can't leave father and mother. Yan Yan said, then he said that since this was the case, there had to be an end to this matter. Let him leave, as if he had never appeared. I don't want him to leave just like that. I don't want to leave Cloud Sky City either. Thus, I said that I would bring him back to Cloud Sky City and asked him if he dared to go back with me. In the end, after thinking for a while, he gritted his teeth and said, I dare. Thus, I brought him back to Cloud Sky City. Then, what was Martial Uncle Shiman's reaction? Yang Dingtian asked. Yan Yan said, I brought Yang Zheng back to Cloud Heaven City and knelt in front of father. My father looked at me for a long time before he sighed. Are you finally willing to face me? As it turned out, father already knew that I had saved Yang Zheng. And because of me, he had already fallen out with the Northwest Qin City, fought 3 wars, and killed many of their people. Then, father asked me if I had made a decision. He wanted Yang Zheng to stay, and I nodded. Yang Dingtian asked, then, what happened next? Yan Yan said, then, father announced that my marriage with Yang Zheng was still valid. Furthermore, Yang Zheng was still the successor of Cloud Sky City. Father even personally taught him martial arts and treated him as a direct disciple. But during that time, father was very unhappy. Previously, he was very close to me and liked to coax me to talk every day. During that time, he didn't talk to me much. So, in order to please him, I began to work hard to learn how to cook. Every day, I would make different soups for father to drink. Finally, father smiled at me more often. But occasionally, he would tell me that I had to be responsible for my own choices. Yang Dingtian could imagine Shiman Wuya's state of mind at that time. The Yang clan was his greatest enemy, but for his daughter, he had no choice but to compromise. Yan Yan said, I thought that life would continue like this. Although it wasn't very sweet, at least it was happy. And every time I made soup, Yang Zheng would come and eat it secretly. He said that he envied my father and hoped that one day, I would be able to make soup for him every day. That way, even if it was a god, he wouldn't change. Yang Dingtian asked, then? Yan Yan took a deep breath, her beautiful eyes filled with pain. She said in a trembling voice. One day, he came to drink the soup I made as usual. When he saw me, his expression was a bit strange. I asked him what was wrong. He said that the soup was a bit salty. I thought that he was talking nonsense and didn't take it seriously. I packed the soup and brought it to father. He said that he wanted to accompany me and that he had some things to report to father. I didn't take it seriously and let him come with me. But on the way there, I asked him if the soup was really salty. He said that it might be his taste buds. It's fine, he told me to bring the soup over. At this point, Yinyan's delicate body was already trembling. She continued, I was still worried at that time, so I scooped up a spoonful and wanted to taste it. His expression changed slightly and he told me not to drink it. I was suspicious, so I looked at him and said that he didn't want me to drink it, so I threw the soup away. The muscles on his face twitched. He smiled and said that if you want to drink it, you can drink it. So, I drank a mouthful, and nothing happened. Sister Ningning once gave me a very strange needle. She said that this needle could detect any poison in the world. After I drank it, I was still worried and secretly tested it with the needle. There were no symptoms either. So, I laughed at myself and brought the soup in. At this point, Yinyan's face was already covered in tears. And then? Yang Dingtian asked. Then, after I entered father's room, I scooped out the soup as usual and brought it to father. Father took it and was about to drink it as usual. Suddenly, I realized that Yang Zheng didn't directly follow me. I felt strange and instinctively whispered, "Father, don't drink it." Father was very vigilant. He smelled the soup and then took out the needle to test it. He laughed at me for making a fuss over nothing. Then, he directly picked up the bowl and drank it. Yan sobbed. Not long after father drank the soup, a strange bird cry came from outside. Then, 4 men covered in black robes rushed over with swords in their hands. The person in the lead was the one who wore the same mask as Yang Zheng. He should be his elder. The 4 of them fiercely rushed over and wanted to kill father. It turned out that there was a strong poison in the soup. It was a poison that couldn't be detected by anything. At this point, Yan was already out of breath from crying. Yang Dingtian gently patted her back and said, "And then?" In addition to these 4 people, 10 more people rushed in and surrounded father. Also, there were shouts of killing everywhere outside. They have been preparing for this day for a long time. As long as father drinks the poisonous soup, they will immediately kill him. Then, they will rebel in Cloud Sky City and kill most of the people who are loyal to father. Then, they will take back Cloud Sky City. Yinyan's voice trembled. They have been preparing for this day for a long time. Yang Zheng came every day to steal the soup, just for one day, to poison father. Moreover, it was a poison that couldn't be detected by anything. Then, I drank that spoonful of soup in front of Yang Zheng, and he didn't stop me. He just watched me drink it, so that I could continue to feed the soup to my father. Yan's entire body was trembling. She said, everything was a conspiracy. It was all for the sake of killing my father and taking back Cloud Heaven City. And then? Yang Dingtian asked. Yan continued, then, just as the 10 or so experts were about to kill father, Yang Jing appeared. He said that he would spare father's life, destroy his martial arts, and put him under house arrest. However, the masked old man said that he wanted to cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. Not only did he want to kill father and mother, but he also wanted to kill me. Yang Zheng was furious and said that he had to marry me. Otherwise, he would commit suicide and let the Yang family die. In the end, the masked old man had no choice but to compromise. He said that he could keep me, but father had to be killed. Furthermore, Yang Zheng could only marry me as a concubine. The main wife had to marry the Northwest Chin City's second Mississippi, and then? Yang Dingtian asked. Then, Yang Zheng agreed and wanted to take me away. He said that if I couldn't see father being killed with my own eyes, I wouldn't leave. I put a sword to my neck and said that if he touched me, I would commit suicide. In the end, father smiled and told me to go out. The scene returned to 6 years ago. Shimin Wuya sat on a chair and said to Yan Yan, go out. It's best that you don't see what happens next. I'm sorry, father. It's all my fault. I won't go out. I won't go out. I'll die with you. Yan Yan was crying tears of blood. Shimin Wuya gently stroked Yan Yan's head and said, go, you should be a good daughter. When it comes to important matters, you have to listen to father. Go find your sister Ningning, okay? Remember, go find your sister Ningning. At this moment, Shimin Wuya's gaze was gentle and firm. Every time this happened, Yan Yan had to listen to her father. Wipe away your tears. Remember that today is a small lesson, Shimin Wuya said. Yan Yan wiped away her tears and turned to leave. No one stopped her. Yang Zheng quickly chased after her and said in a trembling voice, Yan Yan, don't blame me. I just wanted to take back everything that belonged to the Yang family. My love for you has never changed. Yan Yan turned around and looked at Yang Zheng's face. I don't blame you. From your point of view, what you did was right. Yang Zheng chased after her and said, I'll go beg my father and ask him to spare your father's life. Then you'll still marry me and we'll be the same as before. Yan Yan dodged and said, don't dream like that. Then, Yan Yan directly circulated her Xian Qi. Ignoring the fighting around her, she directly ran towards Ningning's valley. At this moment, she discovered that her Xian Qi had already regressed to the great mystic martial master level. Yang Zheng originally wanted to chase after her, but he knew that he had more important matters to attend to. Thus, he led the rebel forces and rushed towards the scripture pavilion, inside Shimin Wuya's room. Junior Wuya, I've waited for this day for so long. The masked old man slowly walked forward and said, do you know how much I sacrificed for this day? Don't you want to know who I am? Shimin Wuya sighed and said, Yang Yinchong, big brother. For today, you sold yourself to the devil. Was it worth it? The masked old man fiercely lifted his mask. It was an incomparably terrifying face. His entire facial features were all twisted and rotten. It was completely disgusting to the extreme. It was worth it, of course it was worth it. Yang Yunchong said coldly, Cloud Sky City was originally mine. I was originally going to become the most outstanding Cloud Sky City lord in hundreds of years. It was because of that disgusting pig-killing swordsmanship that I became a madman and a cripple. Do you know where I went to recover my cultivation? I went to the Dongli grasslands tens of thousands of miles away. I went to the northernmost celestial Red Sea. I sold my soul and everything to the devil in exchange for the current me to recover my martial arts and break through to the master level. However, he has become neither human nor ghost. However, I don't regret it. Because my son is normal. Most importantly, Cloud Sky City is back in the hands of the Yang family. Yang Yunchong said, and you, the usurper, will die in incomparable pain. Can you kill me? Shimin Wuya asked. Of course, we have 4 masters and 10 martial venerables here. Yang Yunchong laughed and said, and you, although you are already an advanced master. But do you know what you just drank? It's a dark crystal refined from the celestial Red Sea's water. It's enough to devour all energy. A few 100,000 pounds of seawater was refined into a dark crystal the size of a speck of dust. It's enough to completely destroy your cultivation. Right now, let alone the dozen of us, even if I were to kill you alone, it would still be more than enough. Shimin Wuya looked at Yang Yunchong indifferently. He stood up and slowly walked toward Yang Yunchong. Yang Yunchong instinctively took 2 steps back. What are you afraid of? Shimin Wuya laughed. What am I afraid of? Your cultivation is far inferior to mine. You're already a dead man. What am I afraid of? Yang Yunchong laughed and then pulled out an ugly big sword. You think too much, Shimin Wuya said. He raised his palm and slammed it toward Yang Yunchong. Yang Yunchong met it with a palm. Ah! Then, Yang Yunchong let out a shrill scream. All that could be seen was a dark shadow spreading from his palm all the way up, instantly covering his entire body. Yang Yunchong's body trembled crazily, like a ghost. Shimin Wuya said indifferently, Yan Yan told me not to drink it just now, so I didn't drink it. It looked like I drank it, but in fact, I directly used my qi to boil the soup. I saw this speck of dark dust in my palm, and then I kept it here so that I can return it to you now. Yang Yunchong screamed crazily and roared crazily. He felt that the energy in his body was quickly disappearing. Brother, I won't kill you. I'll lock you up. You and your son can spend the rest of your life together, Shimin Wuya said. At this time, the remaining experts finally came to their senses. They came over and pulled out their swords. They surrounded Shimin Wuya, trembling with fear, ready to fight. Yang Yunchong roared, Shimin Wuya, you're good. But just now, your daughter also drank a mouthful of soup. Her genius cultivation is completely destroyed. When Shimin Wuya heard this, his eyebrows furrowed and he roared angrily, Bastard, go to hell. Swish swish swish. Shimin Wuya furiously attacked with his sword. Suddenly, blood spurted out. Yang Yunchong in front of him was directly torn into pieces. After that, the furious Shimin Wuya wielded his bloodthirsty sword. In an instant, he killed more than a dozen experts, 3 grandmasters, and 10 revered martial artists in the room. Swish 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 swish. The sword shadow was like a dragon. More than a dozen experts of Qin City, almost without any resistance, were torn into pieces by the furious Shimin Wuya within a few seconds. Then, Shimin Wuya rushed out of the small building and flew towards Shimin Ningning's valley. Back in reality, Yang Dingtian and Yan Yan's boat. And then? Yang Dingtian asked. Yan Yan said, then father came over and desperately poured qi into my body. He used all kinds of methods to suck out the dark crystal from my body, but he didn't succeed. Instead, his cultivation was damaged. Just like that, he was delayed in suppressing the rebellion in Cloud Sky City. That night, many people died. As for that old bastard Yang Yan, he wasn't clean in this rebellion either. But when he heard that father was fine and Yang Yunchong was killed, he immediately turned around and led people to slaughter the rebels. Yang Zheng, who was sent to attack the scripture depository, also died under Yang Yan's sword. Yang Zheng died? Yang Dingtian asked. Dead. Yang Yan personally chopped off Yang Zheng's head for everyone to see. That way, my father couldn't take the opportunity to eliminate him and let that old thief live until now. Yan Yan said. Then, Yan Yan smiled miserably and said, the whole thing is like that. I destroyed myself. I almost destroyed my father and the entire Cloud Sky City. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and asked, then? Do you love Yang Zheng? Or did you love him? You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.